guys, welcome to Cult Film and Review, the podcast where we discuss the films you love but no one else gets and we see if they still hold up. Tonight, we're firing up our chainsaws and we're diving into a family reunion from hell with Texas Chainsaw 3D. So buckle up for a wild ride through the Lone Star State of horror. Because family bonding was never this blood-soaked before, so let's start the show. Hey guys, thanks for joining the cult. We really appreciate it. Do us a favor, head over to iTunes, leave us a review, and then we'll give you a shout out at the end of the show. We got one to do.
Shout out.
So please make sure you head over to iTunes, leave us that review so we can shout you out as well. Again, at the end of the episode. Tonight we are talking about Texas Chainsaw 3D, but before we do, as always, I am joined by Michael Slucio.
Hello, everybody.
Chris Willenbrecht.
Hey, what's up?
And Kyle Smith.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey guys, it's going great. Thanks for asking.
Dude, can I tell you, my brain fucking farted when you said my name. I was just staring off into the distance like, make something up on the fly.
Can I be honest
talk
with
about the movie?
Huh?
Can I be honest with you? The reason I replied to you is because I'm like trying to read this and I got lost in this and I just replied naturally to you. So I'm also,
perfect.
All over the place. Tonight we're talking about Texas Chainsaw 3D.
It was Cody's pick.
I didn't want to. I didn't want to warn anybody. I was waiting to see who was gonna do it. It's always Kyle.
I'll do it.
It's always Kyle every time.
Or we just keep that version.
No, that's what we're keeping in right there.
Why not?
Keep that in.
Yeah, we're keeping that.
This was my pick. I'm glad that you asked why I picked this film.
I like the dramatic pause.
Yeah.
When everyone was quiet.
So the reason the reason I picked Texas Chainsaw is because this is one of those films that is in the recent years started getting a very small little clamoring of people who are starting to come out and be like, no, dude, this is a good one. This is a good one. This is a cult film. You're starting to hear a little more rumblings from that. And so I wanted to bring it on the air and discuss with you guys because I've seen this movie before. And I don't think any of you guys have. I'm not 100% sure on that. We'll find out here in just a second. But I wanted to bring it to you guys because I wanted the definitive answer. Is this a cult film? Is this even a fucking good sequel to Texas Chainsaw Massacre? So we're going to find out. It was directed by John Lessenhop. There it is. Loosenhop?
Right away.
Loosenhop. Loosenhop?
I think
That's it.
That sounds like a Loosenhop to
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, it
I think it's a
does.
Loosenhop.
Yeah,
Wait.
it's John Loosenhop.
Loosenhop?
Loosenhop.
Yeah,
It's
sounds
like
good.
Loosenhop to me.
Written by Adam Marcus, Deborah Sullivan, and Kristen Elms. It stars Alexandria Daddario, Trey Songz, Tina Ramon? See?
Raymond.
Raymond.
Tanya.
Is it Tania?
He clearly,
Tania?
he clearly spent all of his prep on that intro.
Thornberry, Paul Ray, Bill Moseley, and Gunnar Hansen. It came out in 2013. It was initially supposed to come out in 2012, but it came out in 2013. That's why. I don't know. I have 2012 written down. I'm just reading the thing here.
Fine.
It says it had a budget of $20 million. There's arguments to that, which I'll bring up later. Made $47 million in the box office. It doesn't have a rating. The one I watched, I believe some of you guys may have watched the rated R version, but there's really not that any difference that we could find. Currently sits at a 19% critic score on Rotten Tomatoes and a 40% audience score.
Okay.
Like I said, I had seen this
19.
film before. I gave you the reason why I picked the film. Let's go to Mike. Mike, have you ever seen Texas Chainsaw 3D before?
No, it's first time. First time seeing Texas Chainsaw 3D. At first, I thought it was going to be like a remake of a third version of Texas Chainsaw, but it's just 3D. It's just three-dimensional.
Three-dimensional. It's in
That's
three.
all it is.
It's in 3 dimensions.
Every character in this.
Have you have you heard of it before?
No, I absolutely had heard of it.
Yeah.
And can I say I avoided it only because I thought it had a reputation for being absolutely like really, really, really bad.
It does have that reputation.
Okay.
That is true. You're 100% correct, Chris.
I didn't know it had the reputation to be really bad. I had never seen it before. I do remember when it came out. Definitely remember this poster art. I just felt like it kind of like came out and disappeared. That's all I really remember about it.
Kyle?
Yeah, same. I hadn't seen it before. I remember it when it came out, but I don't know. I don't know if somebody told me it was shitty or if like the poster art or the trailer just didn't give me the vibe. But I was like, nah, I'm just not ever gonna watch that movie. But yeah, but now
Yeah.
here we are.
I think like probably what happened to you guys is pretty much like what Chris said. It was here and gone in theaters, and then like there was never any rumblings of it being good until like I said recently. I've seen articles written on it. I've seen like these like people just talking about it in social media and being like, "How is it?"
When did you start hearing about that?
I would say probably in the last like 2 to 3 years.
Okay.
I would say probably
like
in the
it
last
came
2
out in
to 3 years.
2013, 10 years old. I'm
Yeah.
like, is that the cycle we're on now when you can start appreciating?
Yes.
10 years
like,
later.
Yeah.
I think so. And I will tell you there is things in this film why I think that people like it, and think it's because they definitely go like a different direction than normal. But I just it's hard.
I gotta be honest with like I'm not as familiar with this series
Okay.
as I am with like Nightmare on Elm Street, fucking Friday the 13th. Like I feel like Texas Chainsaw was always kind of like 3 or 4 on the list for like, as far as my interest goes. Really like the first one, appreciate the second one, but as far beyond that, like I had never seen another one that I latched onto. So I feel like when this came out, I was like, it's just going to be another dud like
Right.
most of the other ones that I've seen.
Well, and that's kind of like been the trend for Texas Chainsaw for a long time, right? Like I would say since 3. This is kind of what I think has happened in not so much with the other series and some other movies actually too. This has happened to that I think started off really strong with the first fucking movie and then died because of this throughout. So I feel like Texas Chainsaw has been bought and sold by so many fucking different studios that once they get it, certain studios get it, they're like, yeah, we're going to do this with it. And then they don't put any fucking money behind them. And it's like, you cannot, I just don't believe, besides the original one, because the original one is what it is, and this, you can't make a fucking Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie without a fucking budget. I just, like, it's like, give it a budget.
Wasn't this 20 mil?
No.
Oh.
So that's where I have the argument on it. So, where I thought I was gonna I doing research. Wow. Found this discovery. Does anyone recognize the name Adam Marcus?
No.
No one recognizes the name Adam Marcus.
Hold on, let me look it up and pretend like I did.
No, okay.
Just
So
explain it to us.
Adam Marcus, you might know him as the writer and director of Jason Goes to Hell.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh
So-
wait, no, I did read this.
So,
That's
but
funny,
this
but
part.
no, I didn't know.
here's
I
the
actually
thing.
thought it was John Lucenhop that was the director of.
Jason Goes to Hell?
I missed it up.
Yeah, no,
never mind.
it's Adam Marcus and his wife is Deborah Sullivan.
Okay.
They wrote a whole different script. This thing kind of went through like weird production thing, right? So one studio had it at one point. James Wan was attached, which I would love to see a James Wan directed fucking Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Yes, please,
that would be
because I
awesome.
saw, and I think he still is interested in it because I saw Aquaman 2, and there is a part where there's a camera flash in it, and it's the fucking Texas Chainsaw camera
Okay,
flash.
cool.
All right.
It's fucking awesome.
That's cool. It's like a little tribute or
Yeah,
something.
dude, I
Yeah.
popped a little bit
That's
in my
cool.
chair. I was like, ooh, that's like a
weird
little
movie
nugget,
to put a Texas Chainsaw
right?
reference.
It worked
in.
though. So he was at one point attached to direct one film, and then Hooper was going to direct like the sequel to it.
Okay.
And Hooper's always said that he's been done after fucking
Right.
2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was weird. And then it was sold to a different studio. And then it went through like several people until it ended up to here. Adam Marcus was one of the original writers, and they wrote a $20 million movie. That's what they wrote, him and his wife, which is Deborah Sullivan, or his partner. And when the studio got, he says in an interview that I read on, I think Bloody Disgusting, was that they shot it for $8 million.
Oh wow.
And
So wait, where did the other 12 mil go?
they didn't get it. They didn't get
They
it.
just
So
never got
wasn't
it.
that's
actually utilized
that's what happened when
on set.
rewrites happened when Kristen Elms came on.
Oh.
They had to tone it down because he had this whole scene. So he had this whole scene. This is jumping ahead a little bit, which I thought sounded pretty fucking cool. Which was so after he throws his chainsaw at the cop in the carnival, he goes to a hardware store because he needs another chainsaw, and he's in the town, and he gets a big fucking chainsaw. Well, while he's in the hardware store getting a chainsaw, like a SWAT team shows up. And they fucking entered the building. And that was a big mistake because he's got a big ass fucking chainsaw and he just hacks through this fucking SWAT team. which I was like,
man.
that's cool as fuck. That'd be cool to
big.
see.
Can I tell you something?
Right.
If there was a James Wan directed fight scene where he's hacking people up with a chainsaw, I'd buy it just for that movie.
Yeah.
That scene right there.
So like he had that in the movie, and there was some and then the ending scene, he said instead of two fat guys beating up into
Each other.
Jeb
Oh,
Yeah.
Jebediah, instead of them beating him up, it was supposed to be the remaining 12 of the people in the picture
oh yeah. Okay.
that came and killed the Sawyers.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be the remaining 12 beating the crap out of him. Then he was supposed to get the chainsaw back and then saw through 12 dudes at the end as well.
Yeah. So it was written, but I don't get that. Why would they list it as a 20 mil when it was only 8?
Well, it's Wikipedia, so
Or
that's why.
Those credits were long, man. I was like, really? Well, there's this many people involved in this movie? Like at the end, I was like, fuck. Whoa.
is it possible that like 8 million went to shooting and then the other 12 went to like
Please
like,
don't say effects.
No, I like marketing.
No,
or
the other
something.
12 went to the 3D.
Yeah.
Element.
Yeah.
Well, there was, like,
no. Actually, you're probably right. Actually,
And maybe I don't know.
There was he said he wrote another scene, which was the van scene when the van flips over. It was supposed to be instead of the boyfriend Ryan being decapitated.
Mhm.
He's like, that was super lazy. He's like, he was supposed to be back up against the roof of the van, which was supposed to act like a wall, and then you're gonna hear the chainsaw, and then it would come through his chest, and then he would go to grab the blade as it was through his chest and cut off his fingers, and the fingers would fly at you in 3D.
okay,
Alright,
Which
cool.
I thought was such a cool
Would have
idea.
been cool,
Right.
Would have been cool. For
So that's what I mean. You hear these ideas and you're like, dude, why do people just buy this movie and then go like, hey, well, you know what we're gonna do? Because this plays into the timeline and kind of will wrap us back around. Let's go film a Texas Chainsaw movie in Bulgaria. And it's like, because, and that's the other thing. There's so many fucking timelines with Texas Chainsaw, right? So this one is a sequel
to the
original.
Yeah,
Right?
Yeah.
It is set up to take place immediately
it ignores
after
everything else, right?
Right.
Okay.
And then this also falls in the timeline with Leatherface, which is a prequel to the original. So it goes Leatherface, the original, and this one in this Texas Chainsaw
Mhm.
lineup,
Okay.
which the only good one in that one is the original,
Okay.
right? The rest is
Mhm.
like, we'll get the Leatherface, I'm sure, at some point. Because
we reviewed Leatherface. didn't we?
no,
No.
that's Texas
No.
Chainsaw 3 Leatherface.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
just
There's
Leatherface.
Just a Leatherface movie.
There's just a Leatherface movie.
See, my knowledge of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies was 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I think there was a remake in 2005.
2003 got a little steam. Like that one was.
Can I tell you something?
2003, that one was good. I
Love
remember
that one.
being great.
I don't remember it well enough. I remember thinking it was good, like at the time, but it didn't stick with me enough to go back and
that one had some
watch
like
it.
good
So-
like ick moments.
So I
like-
would say go back and watch it. What I like what that one does is it took a tonal shift. I feel where like a lot of people don't know how to make the Sawyers scary like the original did,
Mhm.
and like the 2000, I think it is 3 or something like that
Mhm.
remake did. They made that family fucking realistic and scary in
Yeah.
that one. And then they just upped the brutality in it. And Leatherface was just a fucking tank running through people
Yeah,
in that
yeah.
one. And he was scary and people getting there, it's like,
Yeah.
Y-
It was
Toby-
pretty angry movie. It had like
Right.
an angry
Yeah.
tone.
Oh,
Yeah,
definitely.
that
Yeah.
fucking that shot though. I'll never forget that, the little headshot, the
yeah.
camera.
Oh, through the head.
Oh,
through
yeah.
the bullet hole in the
Yeah,
head.
that was cool.
And like, and I'm one of the people that like I am saying with this film, where people are like, this is a cult classic. This is actually a good one. I am like that for Texas Chainsaw Beginning, which is the prequel that came out like I think 2005 or whatever.
Is that the one that has like Renee
That's the
Zellweger
sets.
and
No,
that's
that's
the
the
four.
one that has-
That's-
That's 4.
That's
That's
it's
4.
yeah. This is
Okay.
the
The next
this is the
generation.
prequel
Next
to
generation,
the
okay.
remake.
Okay.
So it's the prequel to the remake. That movie, I don't think people liked it because there is no joy in that
Yeah,
movie.
I didn't watch that movie actually.
There's no fucking
that-
joy in that movie. That movie is just
If you
straight
could
up.
say joy in a
Yeah.
chainsaw massacre movie.
That movie is just straight up brutality. And I went back and watched it. I was like, this movie's pretty fucking good. Like
Yeah.
it's brutal. It makes me uncomfortable. Like
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
And I felt that way about the remake as well.
that I've not seen all of them, so
I have.
I don't know
Yeah.
the whole world.
I've only
but-
seen 1, 2, and 3.
yeah.
D.
You never saw 4? Next
You
Generation?
never saw Next Generation?
Matthew McConaughey?
Which is
No.
a weird tie.
And A. Zeller?
one's
Come
the
on.
weirdest,
It's
right?
fucking
Which is a
bizarre.
weird tie into this movie.
It does?
It does? I can't wait to hear about that.
Matthew McConaughey is in real life cousins with Alexandria Daddario.
I did not know that.
And they've both been in a Texas
Is it
Chainsaw
Alexandra
movie.
or Alexandria?
I don't know.
Alexandra.
Alexandra? Sorry, Andrea? What am I saying?
I think
You're
you're
saying
saying
Alexandria.
Andrea.
I'm churching it up.
Alexandria, an ancient city.
I don't know. So she's one of those actresses, and I'm probably going to get a little heat for this one, too. She's one of those actresses who's in like fucking everything, but I didn't realize she was in everything, and like I've never paid attention to her.
Lotus, yeah,
she's in White Lotus season.
So good.
Yeah, no, she's a really good actress.
She is. She's not bad.
Right.
Like she's not bad. It's just one of those things where it's like I didn't realize she's in everything, and I've taken her for granted.
Yeah.
I think.
What was the one that just recently? It was like a horror film. Is it like Satanic Panic? Not Satanic Panic. What was the name?
I
of
watched that. That's not a very good movie though.
It's not Satanic Panic though. It's not Satanic Panic.
No. It's
I have IMDb right here. Why am I?
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about though.
Why am I doing this?
Alexandra Daddario.
Alexandria.
Oh yeah, she was in
Baywatch.
Piercy Jackson.
Of course, she's in Baywatch.
Yeah, the movie. Yeah, with The Rock.
Oh my God. She was in the
That one's
Girlfriend
really good.
Experience.
She was in a bunch of. Dude. I'm telling you, she's in everything.
Can I just say
everything but this film that I'm fucking looking for?
She's got a look, man. Like she's got a look that like she kind of really doesn't look like anyone else,
right?
That I can think of, and like
it's the.
I don't know if I don't know. It depends what you put her in. I've seen her not so great in other roles, but like in this one, I thought she was okay. Like I thought she was pretty good.
I mean, there's not a lot to hold down here.
We Summon the Darkness is the film I was talking about.
Yeah, I didn't.
Did you see
no,
it?
no, I didn't see
It's
that.
a fun film.
It's
kind of a
fun film.
It's a fun film.
All right, guys, it's time for my favorite part of the show, which is plots and shots with Mike.
As you said, this takes place after the first one. Almost like directly kind of after the first one, at least like the intro part of this film, right? Girl gets away, cop shows up at the Sawyer's house. Hey, man, we found the girl from the original. I believe her name, what was her name in that one? Sarah?
Sally.
Sally, that's right. You guys, we got to bring you to justice. But the town, the rest of Texas shows up.
State of Texas.
And they have different idea of what they think justice is. And they decide to just basically massacre the entire Sawyer family except for Leatherface and an infant that is captured in the melee, right? That child, we flash forward I believe 39 years we flash forward.
We do?
To.
Yes, we do.
Flash forward 39 years.
She's 39?
Well, we should get into that at
Yeah.
some point in time.
Her age is something.
No fucking way.
But yes, flash forward 39 years, and this young 20-year-old has decided, has gotten a message to saying, hey, you have an inheritance to you. You have this whole, I believe it's the Carson residence is yours. And she decides, hey, I'm going to bring 3 of my friends, go check this place out, only to find out that it is the old home where Leatherface is being held. And from there, I guess Leatherface starts doing Leatherface-like ass shit. And she needs to survive it and figure out the mystery of her family.
I'm glad you brought that up because this is definitely like a film noir mystery film.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is. It's a mystery. It's a slow burn.
It gets very noir at the end, okay? I don't want to hear
You
it.
gotta stay to the end.
Gotta stay to the end. Gotta stay to the end of it. No, that's 100% correct. And we will get more into the storyline and the history and the legacy that is Texas Chainsaw 3D when we come back. All right, Mike, what are we sipping on tonight?
Okay. So I'm calling this one a Carson's Oil.
Carson's Oil.
Carson's Oil. If you
Smells good.
look into the history of this film, Verna Carson is the grandmother that passes away that gives Heather the essentially like I guess the deed or whatever to the house. Right. There's a moment in this film where she's like piecing things together, right? And she's like, it shows like the Carson oil field. I'm like, okay, so the rich, the wealthiness of this family, it all came from oil money, right? So I was like, okay, can I think of a drink that like embodies oil? There is a drink called a corn oil. It uses rum and velvet falernum. I wanted to smash that to give it a Texas twist. So I added Texas's favorite spirit. Does anybody know what that spirit is?
Michelob Ultra.
No.
Let me taste.
Oh, well, you'll know it if you taste it, probably.
Tequila?
Tequila.
Yeah.
That's right. Tequila. So I kind of essentially, and I didn't know this too. The margarita is actually from Texas. It's not from Mexico. It's a Mexican truck driver invented it, but he was in Texas when he did it. So that is what this is.
So
it's
we're
kind of a
claiming it.
combination.
This is a margarita?
It's kind of like a margarita, but it's also has some little extra stuff in it to give it kind of a silkiness. The velvet falernum kind of thickens it a bit. I wanted to give it that.
Yeah.
Mine's a sipper for sure, dude. I feel like I got most of the alcohol in mine. Woo!
I feel like that too, but I'm not going to sip it.
Oh, mine's a sipper. I'm gonna sip it.
It's good. It's probably
good.
my favorite
It's
that we've
so-
done
it-
so
it-
far.
Is your favorite?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know
Because
what?
I think I know
I
your
tend to like
palate
the
then.
fruitier drinks.
Yeah, this is definitely
Yeah.
a fruit. Like I mean, there's no fruit in it, which is kind of crazy. But
yeah.
there's lime in it.
Am
There's
I
lime.
am I crazy? And like I feel like there's I felt like a whiskey taste. Am I just
It's
nuts?
the tequila.
It's probably
I got the same thing. I think it's that's what I was trying to figure out. What else is in
bitters?
it?
so the whole thing is it's got tequila in it.
Okay.
It's got lime juice.
Okay.
It's got velvet falernum, which is kind of like a spiced lime liqueur,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
It has orange curacao in it,
Sure.
Okay.
and it has Angostura bitters.
Yeah.
That
That's
gives
what
it
it is.
kind of the
I think it's the orange curacao and the bitters
The
together.
bitters
It's kind
probably.
of
That's
almost
giving
giving you this old fashioned
Right.
essence.
There's
That's
a
kinda
good-
what I'm
There's a
getting.
good bit of
Yeah.
of bitters in
It's
this.
a good
drink.
flavor. It's a
Gives it
it's
like
a
a
great
spice.
flavor combination because like all those things are amazing. I love.
This is something I would like want in a cocktail lounge with like a cigar.
Yeah.
Yep.
You
This
know?
this is
Perfect.
Magnums right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Glad
that's
you
a
guys like
perfect
it.
one for. Yeah.
I like it.
Exactly. All right, guys, let's get into this. Let's get into this plot because one of the things I think that was my favorite moment of the beginning of the show, just to go back to it, was Chris' shocked face to find out that this young lady is almost 40 years old. So
Oh my
let's kind of jump into the timeline here. So this film literally opens with a bunch of scenes from the original film. And then it like kind of cuts once the original film stuff is gone and Sally makes it out, we get the police responding to the Sawyer's house of the massacre of her friends.
Mhm.
I do want to point out. Oh, I'm sorry.
Go point out.
I
We're in it.
that
Yeah.
they did intercut those scenes with like new scenes,
Right,
like
right.
like Bill
Yes.
Mosley playing Drayton. Like
Yes.
they
Right.
snuck him in there real quick to make
Right.
it seem like it was.
Mhm.
Right. He's playing Drayton. And
Mhm.
like for anybody who was excited to see Bill Mosley's take on Drayton, don't
Yeah.
be.
You get
Because
2 lines.
You get 2 to 3 lines. I thought that was such a fucking waste of an opportunity.
Yeah.
Because here you have someone who is a legend in the series
Yep.
who can take Drayton, and you kind of think of Drayton from 2 rather than 1.
Right.
And
Mhm.
you're like,
Drayton from 1 gives me weird vibes.
it's like you kind of get like, you're like,
Yeah.
oh man, he could take this and run with it. And then
Mhm.
he gets like 2 lines, and it's like, he's not even like, the thing I don't like about it is he's just like, well, fuck it, give him up.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
fuck family.
Well, let's
my
explain
whole
what
thing-
happens
My
with
whole
this.
thing, though, my whole thing here is just I was so shocked to find out that the Sawyer family was not 4 people but 27.
Yeah.
Yeah.
people.
Right.
If
Yeah.
I'm not mistaken, one of the
18 bearded
Sawyers
men.
Yeah,
is
18
Gunnar
beard-
Hansen. Correct.
Sally didn't run
Yes.
into any of
Okay.
these people.
So
yeah, that was confusing.
No, well, they kind of explain it a little bit. So that opening shot of the cop pulling up
Mm-hmm.
to the Sawyer's house, you'll notice the truck is pulling up where it's the Sawyers with the baby,
Yes.
and they're running into the house.
right.
So it seems like after this massacre happened, the Sawyers called up the other Sawyers and were like, "You got to get over here because some shit's gonna go down. We got caught." That's just kind of like me making a very big leap into how do we explain 12 Sawyers that
Yeah,
never
you're-
existed
you're-
before.
You're rewriting the script. I
Right.
gotcha.
Yeah, as I'm
Would
watching
have
it.
been better.
But yes, Gunnar Hansen is in it. He is who is the original Leatherface. He is the big guy who's just sitting down.
Boss.
Mhm.
Yeah, boss
Mhm.
Sawyer, who has again 2 lines. Here you go. I have a legacy guy, and also Sally, the original actor for Sally, is
Right.
in this movie as well.
Which is
Yeah,
weird.
she comes in.
Let me ask you a
yeah.
question. This scene, I mean, do we want to get into it?
Yeah,
There's a
yeah,
shootout.
let's talk
There's
about
a
it.
shootout. Everybody's
Yeah.
dies.
So Yeah.
Right.
Well, they're about to give up
Yes, let's
Leatherface,
go.
a.k.a.
Yes.
Jebediah.
Jebediah Sawyer.
Yeah.
Sawyer. Jebediah Sawyer. Hate that.
Yeah, that's weird.
Anyways, they're about to give up Leatherface because this one cop shows up and is like, hey, we don't want the rest of the family, even though the rest of the family is in on this shit. We don't want the rest of the family.
Yeah.
We want Jebediah.
Yes.
Mhm.
Bring him out, and it seems like we'll let the rest of the family go. Then what happens is you got a bunch of rednecks show up, or
Town folk.
show up,
Pitchforks
and they're like,
torches.
hey,
With the
fucking
ringleader, Bert.
Bert,
Mhm.
they're like, hey, eye for an eye. Fuck them.
Texas justice.
Yeah, fuck them. Which I will argue this, which understandable actually from this town aspect. Because you got to think that this town has had people murdered and killed by this fucking family out in the middle of Texas, or know what's going on. They obviously know what's going on.
I mean, if you watch the original movie, the entire film has background news of people saying, like, this person was dismembered, this body was found in the thing.
Right.
Like, the whole time in the original film, you can tell there's massive police action, or at least investigations, to try to figure out where all of these dead bodies are coming from. So it's not like the town... sometimes you go see, like, Hills Have Eyes or something. Like, pretty much everyone in the vicinity is well aware of this bad place, and everybody is just kind of like, well, either stay away from there or they're in on it. This always gives me the impression that, like, no, the rest of this area of Texas don't know what's going on. They're wondering where all these dead bodies are coming from. They're not fans of the Sawyers at this point. Once they find out about it.
Bert has rallied a bunch, 12, 15 people.
Yeah.
Probably should pull up in pickup trucks.
The whole neighborhood showed
Bert
up.
got everybody together. They listened to Jason Aldean's Try That in a Small Town.
That's right. And then they took it literally.
And they fucking drove down there. And they were gonna get some vigilante justice. But it's also like we're trying to build sympathy for the Sawyers, but I'm like, they eat people.
Yeah, it's very weird.
And this is where we try to do it. This is the first time we try to do it in the film, because we're trying, whoever the first writer is, or whatever part of the script, whoever writer wrote this, they're trying to be like, they're trying to get you to go, well, who's really the monster?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is it us or is it them? And it's like, no, motherfucker, it's them. It's them. I don't eat people. I don't think Bert eats people. Is Bert a good?
We don't make skin masks.
Right. Is Bert a good guy? Probably not. As we later find out, he's not a good guy. But still, like, I'm supposed to be like, well, just because he's a fucking shitty businessman that, like, I don't know.
Yeah,
that
he's not
that killed a bunch of murderers.
I mean,
I don't know.
It just felt like it was villain versus villain.
And that's what that's what they were trying to go for. But it's just so underwhelming.
So, and let me ask a question for everybody. Okay, so they gun down, the shootout happened.
Yeah.
They kill everybody.
Well, and then they throw a Molotov cocktail inside, and a bunch of really cool CG fire happens.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, it's very apparent on a 4K screen if you're watching this at this point.
Oh my god!
But
it wasn't, but it was very
3D
apparent.
fire.
To take all of these legacy actors from the series and to throw them into this scene and kill them off, was this like an attempt to try to say, like, it's an evolution? We're getting rid of the old and in with the new. Like, I just didn't understand why you would take all these legacy actors that have been in the franchise and throw them into one scene where they get murdered immediately.
Day rate.
Day rate. I agree.
You think it's day rate?
Yes, I agree.
Can I be honest? This
I don't think Bill
conversation is
Mosley's Gunnar Hansen can't be asking for that much money.
He died shortly after this. I don't think he was
so
well
you think
during
maybe
this.
he might have been
Yeah,
ill.
but like,
I'm kind of kidding about that.
And nothing
but
against
Hold
Bill
on a sec.
Mosley or anything like that, but like, come on, like
he couldn't have been. He should have been less than Daddario.
I mean, you could have,
right?
But here's the thing: you could have made them in any scene. He could have been a person at a gas station. He could have been a person at any number of people could have played these actors. They put all the legacy actors into one room and they gunned them all down and set them on fire.
Yes, they did.
So, and I don't know, because why would you try to say, like, here's the new generation and a direct sequel to the fucking original?
Because what we'll find out, there's an aspect of this where I feel like they were trying to go in a very different direction. First of all, trying to even cast sympathy upon the Sawyer clan is a very different direction the series has ever gone.
Mm-hmm.
So I just got the impression that this was they were really trying to go for a reboot of like this, and I feel like maybe this was supposed to be symbolic.
Right.
I was trying to say earlier is I'm shocked by this conversation because I'm gonna be honest, I didn't. You guys said all these
words
people had cameos. Didn't catch a single one.
I mean, I had to.
Didn't catch a single one.
The only one I reckoned was
all of
Bill
those people
Moseley.
look like fucking extras except Bill Moseley.
Yes,
that was it. I was like, really? All these people were in it? Where?
Well, no,
Who?
Sally's
Who
at
gives
the
a
end.
shit?
Sally's
Yeah.
at the end.
Yeah.
She's not in the
Yeah.
room, but
she's not in the room, but she should have been. I guess
I mean,
for
it would have been a little weird because she was like the one that
I
survived.
don't even
get
picture
there.
that.
Yeah, but no one-
scene. I
no one
can't even
really would've-
remember it now.
So, anyways, so the fire happens, right, and they don't bring out Jeb because the shootout happens and the fire happens, and who makes it out though is the female Sawyer, the lady Sawyer, the woman Sawyer with the baby.
Mm-hmm.
Mama Sawyer.
Mama Sawyer. I don't know if it's Mama Sawyer,
I
but
don't
it's
know
one
what
of the
her name
Sawyers.
is.
I can't remember.
Loretta?
It's on a tombstone.
I think it's
somewhere.
Loretta. I
It's
think
Loretta.
It's
It's
Loretta.
Loretta Sawyer.
I think it's Loretta
Loretta
Sawyer.
Sawyer makes it out.
She makes it out. She's found by another town person who
Angry mob guy.
angry mob guy who takes the baby, kicks her in the face, and I guess she's dead now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know
I
for
assume the
sure,
fire
but
took her eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was shot too.
she was already
She was
dying. He
shot.
just finished it off.
What
yeah.
I like about this scene the most about the taking the baby is that this gentleman was like, "Hey, you know what sounds like real family fun? Killing this family. Let's bring the wife along. Honey, jump in the truck with me.
Yeah.
Let's go down and let's kill this family
I mean,
together."
Yeah, dude. Like,
Old
what are you gonna
school
do?
justice,
Yeah.
bro.
They're all taking pictures at the end,
Hey,
so like they were
So-
down.
hey,
Holding
sorry,
up a leg.
someone had to take the picture, right? So he brought
Yeah.
his wife.
Yeah.
The wife was in the picture, dude. She was in the
Ready
picture.
to go.
Yeah. So it's just weird to me. Like he was like, "Baby, we gotta go." The whole town's going.
Also, like, I feel like I've seen this like motivation before. I can't think of what film it is.
It's like I can't have a
This-
baby,
This
but
like I can't have a baby. Luckily, we found one just sitting here that we can take, and it's going to be a nature versus nurture situation from
Right.
there on out. Like,
which now we got two competing film tones, right? We have nature versus nurture, which is now just introduced.
right?
But before that, we have sympathy being thrown on the Sawyers. Who's the real monster? Like, make up your fucking mind on what tone you want to take or what story you're trying to tell with this. In my opinion, that's
I'm
where
just
I was
trying
at
to
with
think, like, where did they try to make you feel sympathetic for the Sawyers
Oh,
in the
what?
beginning?
Oh, at the beginning?
Yeah.
I wouldn't say so much at
the
the beginning.
well, hold on.
I don't
I
think so.
would. I
Really?
would.
Okay.
Yes.
What part?
And here's where I'll argue it.
Yeah.
So, and it's ironically in this scene, right? He goes, he kicks the mother, he takes the baby, they put the baby in the truck, and then they all go take pictures with dead fucking bodies and foots and things, and
Right.
like,
All right.
so they're doing the whole Night of the Living Dead remake ending,
yeah.
the Tom Savini one.
Sure.
They're doing that ending of like, who's the real again?
Yeah.
It's who's the
Like-
real
like,
monsters.
I guess you're right. They're taking enjoyment out of
Right.
doing this,
Yeah.
and even
Yes.
but they're also introducing the fact that the conveniently named Hooper,
Yeah.
the police officer, the
Oh
only
Yes.
real
gosh,
actual
yeah.
law on that scene,
Right.
was very against this whole idea.
Well, they're
He didn't
also
want to do this.
they're also
He
establishing.
tried- Sorry.
They're also establishing that this motherfucker has been a pushover for Bert for 39 fucking years.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I
And
kept thinking to myself, man, it's like good to be mayor.
Right? Well, not even
Yeah,
mayor. He's not
exactly.
even mayor at that point. Like, literally anything Bert says, this guy's like the head fucking sheriff, and this guy's just like, well, I can't argue it. You're not in any official capacity yet in 1974 or 3. You're not in any capacity officially, but you know
Here's
what?
the thing, though.
You
He's
mob
he was
rule,
the
I
town
guess.
He is
ma- he was the
outnumbered,
town
right? Yeah.
patriarch.
Like I understand the
He's
meaning
out-
of like, what am I gonna do? I got like 50 angry people here ready for blood. Like,
Right.
what am I gonna do? Tell them all they're under arrest?
Well, he's
Like-
definitely not going to stop bullets flying,
Yeah,
which happened.
yeah.
So, then what? We flash forward.
Then we flash forward 39 years later to a young
Beautiful, brooding butcher.
right. So again, that's oh my god, that was like the
I
first
forgot
thing.
about that.
That's the first fucking Chris. That is the first thing. Is she is working at a grocery store in the meat department just because of like again,
Why?
it's
Just
the
'cause?
nature versus nurture argument. They are playing it up. They are beating you
It's
over
in
the
her
head
blood.
with it.
Look, her
Right,
character
I
doesn't make
think
a lot of sense.
We're focusing on the wrong thing because
Her character
when,
makes no sense.
When she came out of the butcher to be in the grocery store, like I'm like, cool. There's like she's 20 years old now. That's cool.
Yeah, and then she became an artist.
Yeah.
For a second.
But yeah, she did.
Yeah,
For a
she
hot
did.
minute.
Literally
Real.
never plays any kind of
It
role in
doesn't.
anything
But
ever
like,
again.
I guess, do we talk about the weird? I mean, are we?
I'm just
The what,
curious
the-
what
the-
your thought
the
on
age?
different.
The
Yeah,
age
okay.
difference?
So at least at this point, we've established. Okay, this
She's
is clearly
22.
the baby, right?
Yes.
This happened in the 19 what?
Heather
70,
Miller, right?
Yes, Heather Miller.
73.
73. And it is now 2012, I believe.
It
in
is
this film.
2012 because we
Right.
have a whole scene on FaceTime.
And they make a whole point about to say that, right? So the timeline makes no sense.
No.
Right?
Oh, by the way, I'll say real quick. When the iPhone came out and went on the table, I said, "Well, now I have no idea what year it is."
So they do. From what I understand, again, this is from that Adam Marcus interview. His script was originally written in 1993. Then they hired on another writer to come because there was a writer before him, I think.
Mhm.
Then they hired the third writer to come on, and his film was set in 1993, which would be
Which
the
would make her
appropriate
about
timeline.
24 years old.
Which would be it would be the
Or 22, yeah.
appropriate timeline, right?
Mhm.
And I feel like this film fucking kind of achieves that because you don't know what you're like. Okay, yeah, they're dressed modern, but I don't know what year it is because no one's
Mhm.
pulled out a cell phone until the fucking FaceTime
Yep.
scene. They could have got away with it because that's like towards the end of the fucking
Yeah,
movie.
yeah.
Yeah, I did think
True.
for a hot minute that this was taking place maybe in an earlier time or something like that.
It's not until she goes
but
through
yeah,
the family.
That FaceTime thing gives it away.
It's not well that, and it's not until she goes through the family graveyard where you see 2012 on the tombstone.
Also, like, what I don't and there is a quote from the director. He was interviewed about this, right, and asked about this, like, what's up with the whole timeline thing, and he did mention that, like, well, originally we had intended this to be the 90s, but for whatever reason that I couldn't quite find out, they basically abandoned that idea and then just tried to like pass it off.
Like keep
Right.
90 isms in it or
No,
something?
No.
it's just like all right, we'll just make it modern
I don't know,
times,
man.
I guess, and just keep the script as is.
That crepes guy looked pretty 90s.
What I don't understand is that there were a number of ways that they could have done this, right? It could have been that the baby was Heather's mother and like this was her grandparents that were bringing her up. And
Right.
it could have been like,
Sure.
yeah, you know, like we tried to raise her the best we could, but like things just went out and then she ended up dying or something like that. But we tried to raise you as best we could. You know, maybe she has a baby early. She has a kid early and that's why she's 21 and it's been
Right.
like 40 years or whatever. Like there's so many ways that they could have played this off and it still would have worked just fine. Also, how old is fucking Leatherface?
Right.
Is he like how old is he at this point?
Yeah.
70?
Because if she's 39,
Right.
which she clearly
She's
isn't,
not.
Right.
then Leatherface had to be what? How old was he? Let's say
He's-
he was 20.
he's
He'd
the
be
age-
60 something.
He would be the age he is in the Netflix one, which
What
he
is
is.
what?
He's like in his 60s,
Okay.
70s,
All
something
right.
like
So
that.
then, wait. The Netflix one.
There's a Netflix Texas Chainsaw. It's actually I liked it. Some people
Okay.
hate it. It's one of those ones that's again, it's got so you know that the scene I was describing where he goes through like a whole SWAT team
Mhm.
has the new one on Netflix has a very cool scene that's very similar to
Like
that.
the hallway fight from fucking
It's no.
Old Boy, but with a chainsaw.
The motherfucker gets on like a Greyhound bus, and they don't have any escape off the Greyhound bus.
shit.
And
I watched this one.
Yeah, and
Sammy
he
I
just
checked it out.
goes through a whole fucking
Yep.
bus of people, and you're like, okay, finally something like this I want to see. But that's a different movie. So yes, we fast forward to 2012, and Heather is now. And you know what? Let me say this. Let me go back to your point real quick.
Beautiful,
Sorry.
brooding butcher.
It also would
39
have.
going
It
on
also
18.
would have been just okay to go with a fucking 39-year-old.
Mhm.
Yeah, you could have.
You could have.
You could
Right? You could have just gone with a 39-year-old.
I mean, it would be a little weird for a 39-year-old to call up her other 39-year-old friends to go on a trek.
I
to
don't
go
think
find
so.
her inheritance.
That's true.
No,
That's true.
I don't think
I'd get
so.
the time off of
This
work.
is 2013 too.
Yeah,
so.
I don't think a bunch of 39-year-olds are just gonna be like, "Yeah, man, that's totally
No,
cool."
no, no. You can play it off like
gotta watch my
Childless
kid.
39-year-olds. Can you imagine that? Just
Her
invite
boyfriend,
her,
our
like, let's
boyfriend
go.
was clearly in his
No,
early to
there's
mid-20s.
there's ways you can play it off like, honey, we need the
Sure.
vacation from the kids. Let's just go.
Yeah,
She
for
needs
sure.
us.
You
There's so many ways you can
It'd
play
be
it
an
off.
interesting story.
It
Actually,
was-
you
it
know what?
was
That'd
a-
be very interesting.
Honestly, it was all janky, like how they all got on that trip. Like it felt very weird. It's like
Well-
a letter showed up. Oh, I can't go to Halloween.
Hold on.
I have to go to Texas.
it's not much
well,
worse
I
than-
decided we're all going.
Where you're missing so much. First, you're missing that when we after we're in the grocery store, she's cutting meat. Bell rings. She goes out and she sees her friend, her sexy friend.
Nikki?
Sexy friend.
Just cleavage out of the work uniform like
Oh,
you've
yeah.
never seen before.
Yeah.
Which this movie has
Real archetype.
a cleavage trend
Mhm.
Yeah.
throughout it.
Yep.
They wanted to show boobs so bad, but
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
never did.
This is a film I don't understand. I do want to say this too, like because okay, Alexandra Daddario is very much known for having assets. Let's just say,
Sure.
like,
Yeah.
like she's a very attractive person.
100%.
Stunning blue eyes. She has a great figure. They're definitely trying to show off that
They're-
her stomach is like
They're
Bro,
giving you blue balls
almost
through
a
the whole
third
movie.
character in this film.
Can
Like,
I tell
mean,
you,
like-
her midsection is the star of this film. They filmed that more than any other character.
yeah, it just seems like this
It's
whole
the most
film,
skin they could justify.
like they desperately wanted to show nudity, but just didn't. You know, and I'm not saying that any film needs nudity, you
didn't.
know, but like
Clearly,
it's
they're
just
pushing
very-
it to
it's
the
just
edge
very
here.
clear that they wanted to.
Yeah.
right?
Right.
And I understand this film is rated R, isn't it?
Yes, and even the unrated doesn't show any boobs.
Well, I just don't
No.
understand. Like, well, if you wanted to,
I don't
and you
want
got an
boobs
R
in a
rated,
Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie.
Maybe she
I
just
don't
didn't
want.
to.
Thank you, Kyle.
so you think they were just being like,
No,
no.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies do not need sexiness.
No boobs.
I'm not saying
no
they
Actually,
do.
is there any
What, sexiness or boobs?
like boobs in Texas Chainsaw Massacre? I
I
don't.
don't think there's any
can't even
nudity that I
think
know
of
of.
any.
No.
Like,
Yeah.
but, like, I mean, it's not like the first one
I don't
doesn't
want it
show
though because
a
it's like
level of
it's like a level of like
It does.
brutality. I'm just like, oh, I don't want this.
Yeah.
No one makes this.
No. I don't need
I
that.
guess it just seems to me like this film desperately wanted to show nudity.
I
It wanted-
seriously
didn't.
think it wanted to push you to the edge of it to wonder if it was
They
going
were
to
just
happen.
trying to get
and
butts
it-
in the seat.
seat,
And they
yeah,
knew that
sex
sh-
appeal.
That her fucking top would sell great on the trailer.
I
Yeah.
feel like there was some movie exec in the background like, yeah, we don't have the budget for you to fucking do that gore scene you want to do, but maybe we should show a little more
we got
TNA.
we got
bring
Alexander
the,
Daddario.
bring the
How's that?
fans in.
Yeah.
I do. So as we meet this friend with again ridiculously cut cleavage at work, probably would have been asked to change her shirt, but it's a uniform.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And they have their little thing, and then Daddario, Heather, she goes home, and we get this fucking brilliant, awesome opening of Trey Songz, Ryan, her boyfriend, hitting a punching bag like he's never fucking hit a punching bag before in his
Really?
life. Dude, it looks so weird, and the kick he throws is like the
I
weirdest
didn't
kick.
notice that.
Did
Yeah,
he?
it's a weird thing. There's
Did
like
he-
like a weird thing with him. I don't understand.
Clearly, I'm not a fighter.
He says this line, and maybe
I don't think he was a boxer though. Like or
no.
A kickboxer
Well,
or
no,
anything.
hold on.
No, I
He
think he
says
just had a heavy bag. He
No,
was just
no.
punching it.
Everyone stop. He says this line in the movie when the
Uh-huh.
letter shows up. That is, I was hoping that either you guys caught on to it or maybe it's just a plot point they dropped and is never brought up again. But when she brings
Maybe
the
it's my contract.
maybe it's my
Yeah.
contract.
Yeah.
She brings the letter up and he's like, maybe it's my contract. What contract?
I know.
Okay.
There's a lot of those things
That-
in this movie.
Can I be honest? When I heard contract, I thought, oh, he's like he's a fighter. He's
He's
a
a
boxer.
fighter. He's an
Really?
athlete.
Okay.
He's something. A football
Yeah.
player.
Yeah.
Can I be
A
honest
rapper or
with you?
something.
Doesn't matter.
I thought he was a rapper.
Now
Nope.
he's punching a bag. Like I
no,
thought he was a
that
fighter.
part I just thought it was exercise. I thought
Uh,
maybe like he was
Is that
doing a
it?
thing.
Well, having not exercised, I don't know what to think. You know, that looks
Yeah.
like exercise.
it's great work.
I
It's
guess.
great. It's a great workout. If you can get a
exercise,
heavy bag,
correct.
it's great.
Maybe
workout.
it's my contract.
At this
Yeah.
point, the director has said, you know what? We've got the audience worked up sexually with the cleavage. We got them warmed up.
Yes.
Let's hit him with an almost a sex scene.
Yeah. Almost.
Almost a sex
Yeah.
scene.
Yeah.
And
A
then the
slight-
contract
yeah.
shows up.
A slight dry hump and a reveal of a scar on her left breast?
Correct.
Yeah, left or right. Yes,
Left,
it's the burn mark
Yeah.
that she
Yes.
receives from the
So
fire.
when she's a baby, and that's I think we
Did
should
they ever
probably
cover
explain.
that?
Yeah.
They do cover it through a pretty much thing. So at the beginning, and this is the only thing I knew about Texas Chainsaw 3D was I had seen multiple pictures of Alexandra Daddario in this cut off sweater, this like
Yeah,
weird
you goddamn right
horizontal
you
thing.
did.
I'm just saying like
I had
it's
seen
a
multiple.
no, it's a common image that I have seen like on Twitter. It's a common image I've seen on like in social media. Like I don't know why. I think it's clearly, obviously,
Clearly
because
it's memorable.
because you can see her midriff, like right, like you can see her stomach, and she's
Mhm.
obviously in very good shape in the
Obvious.
film,
I mean,
right? But you don't see cleavage in this thing. It's actually quite high up, right? So
You
you
don't-
don't really see
you
that.
don't until the end.
You don't see it until the end, but
Yeah.
they change her outfit one time in this, and
They keep
we'll
her-
get into that a little bit
Yeah.
later. But
True.
the thing
So-
is that, but I do want to say for anybody who hasn't seen this film, all the Sawyers in this film wear a medallion that has an S
Yes.
on it.
Yes.
And the reason why she has this scar is because the baby must have had it when the fire had burned it up, and it had burned it
Oh.
and branded it into her chest.
I did not catch on to that.
No, it
Can
was.
I
thought
tell
it
you-
was
That
from the
makes
mom. I
sense.
thought the mom was holding it and it was burned.
Oh,
and
okay,
it laid on
maybe
the
it was that
baby.
then. You're
yeah,
right. Maybe it was
something
that.
like that.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
so-
That's where it came from.
I did not put that together. My rationale in my head was like, oh, all the ladies wore it so Leatherface who knew who was part of the family.
That's
So he wouldn't
Probably
kill
a
him.
good idea.
Honestly,
So he
it
wouldn't kill
that
them.
probably works as well.
That was like their protection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like,
He's like, oh,
he would
S,
see the
I
neck-
know that.
yeah, he would see the necklace and
If
be
you
like,
see this necklace, do not try to hack them to pieces.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Because that's what I thought.
God
That's the-
forbid they took it off for a shower or
Yeah, yeah.
something.
You're
So
Fucking chainsaw gets ripped.
Heather-
Like, no.
Heather gets this letter and she finds out that she has a grandmother that she knew nothing about.
Mhm.
So what does she do?
Oh, best scene ever.
She goes and she confronts her adoptive parents about what
Who are
happened.
complete
Can I be?
dicks.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
gonna
they're
say, like,
assholes.
there's never been like a moment in a movie where in the first 3 seconds I've seen, I'm like, oh, these guys are pieces of
Yeah.
shit.
Was it the
Jesus.
toe poking out of the sock?
The toe poking out, and she's sitting there like holding a drink. You didn't that you came from nothing with it. Wasn't
was
for
it your
us."
mother's fucked up uterus or whatever the hell
Yeah.
he said?
Yeah.
Like what? Oh my god!
This is
So,
immediately justifying terrible.
What we're
things.
establishing at this point is that again, this is we're trying to tell undertone story here with this scene of like here was these people who were like, you know what, we're gonna save this baby. We're gonna save this baby. We're gonna raise it as our own because we're somewhat decent people. I mean, I kicked her in the
No.
face, but we're somewhat decent people, so we're gonna save this baby.
No, nobody's decent.
I
in
think
this
it's a
film.
And
selfish
then-
move.
It's like fast forward, and it's like because you saved that baby, your whole life is destroyed. You've been living with this guilt that you killed the Sawyers this whole time, and that is why you were in a trailer with a hole in your sock.
No, they were just
That's-
pieces of shit the whole
They
time.
were
No,
just shit.
I mean,
they were
That's
never
what they
good.
want you to feel.
They were
That
never
is
good.
exactly what that scene.
No,
wants you
I
to
did
feel.
not feel like that at all.
I know
felt
you didn't feel that way because it wasn't a good
I
scene.
felt like, oh wow, they actually are pieces of shit that would burn a house down with like 25 people in it.
Yeah, I think I do think that they're definitely
Hold
trying
on,
to draw a line with this family. I mean, imagine if the family was like just like an upstanding, cool, like
Which
nice
I think
family.
it should have been because everybody
I think it
else
would've been interesting.
everybody else kind of was. Bert fucking was and all this stuff. They didn't have to deal with the like
was he though?
bottoming out.
Is he though?
I mean,
Bert's the
his
fucking
son-
mayor. His son's a cop.
His son's an
It's
asshole.
fine.
Son's an asshole. Also,
Yeah.
when his son first appeared on screen, Sammy and I both went, "Oh, sweet, Cap's in this movie."
I don't know who that
Oh,
is.
yeah,
Yeah, 'cause- Captain America.
Yeah, he does look like
Chris
Captain.
Evans?
He looks like Chris Evans.
He
It's
looks
not
like
Chris
Chris
Evans.
Evans.
Exactly.
Not, but
I know.
It's
look
Dollar
it up,
Store
and I was
Chris
like,
Evans, but-
Definitely, it's not Chris Evans.
Oh,
It's not
I
Chris
was
Evans.
like, I don't know. I thought he looked familiar, but I couldn't pinpoint it.
No, I feel like 100% they're again trying to get sympathy for the Sawyers in that scene by being like, oh, they're such a piece of shit. Like these people raised this girl. They probably would like, again, like it's just like, you know what? I got your mother what you wanted, a baby, but this baby's so fucked up because it's a Sawyer.
I don't
They
understand.
ruined
Can I
her
ask-
life.
Can I ask this question?
It's
Can I ask this question? I did not understand this in the film. So the grandmother that dies, she's a Carson.
It's a Carson.
She was originally a Sawyer.
Yes, and she married.
So I'm just trying to figure out in my mind between the house being burned down and all Sawyers dying, and this person marrying what is essentially a billionaire of sorts. Like, I there's a disconnect between the Sawyer family and this
and the Carson family.
I had to look this up, and
it's really difficult.
I saw a Reddit post where
who the hell is Verna?
Right. Okay. So I saw a Reddit post that tries to connect. They took every single Texas Chainsaw movie and they tried to like start piecing this together. And the best that I can understand is that what's the mother's name? The mother's name is Loretta.
Loretta.
Okay. So what happens is there's the Sawyer family, and the Sawyer family has a child. Who's Loretta. Loretta meets a young man who is Verna's son, and he is the heir to an oil business. She marries into a rich family.
A Carson.
A Carson, correct. They have a child who is Heather, but she goes back to the Sawyers.
Okay.
Right? And like at some point in time, something must have gone wrong.
She said, you know what? I've been a vegetarian. I'm back to human.
The understanding is that the son passes away. He never has any other children. Okay. There are no other Carsons alive, as I understand it. At least I feel like it would have to be, right? Yeah. And Verna in a desperate... But here's the thing I don't understand, is why Leatherface is there.
At her house?
Yeah.
Because they're family, brother.
Yeah, but not really. Not
really.
really.
A TCM companion.
Like, I don't... Like, look...
No, she's originally a Sawyer who married into the Carson family. She's a Sawyer through and through, Loretta.
Loretta Sawyer.
Loretta is, but not Verna.
No, Verna is too. Verna is so the way that
Verna's a Sawyer.
She's a Sawyer. She's not a Carson. She married into the Carsons. So for her to marry into the Carsons, she has to be a Sawyer. Some dude named Carson. I don't fucking know.
So what you're saying is
Carson
I
oil
want this information.
So wasn't Loretta? It wasn't Loretta that married a Carson. It
was
Verna that married a Carson.
Loretta,
and then had a Sawyer.
Loretta is the daughter of a Sawyer who married a Carson.
But she's Loretta Sawyer.
She is the grandmother.
She's not Loretta Carson.
She is the grandmother of. She is Verna is she's Verna Carson.
She's Verna Carson,
the grandmother of Heather Carson, which makes her daughter
Loretta
Sawyer. So she's originally a Sawyer who married into her the grandmother married into a different family, the Carsons.
Oh, okay. So I have this way off.
Yes.
Please edit this down.
Verna,
leaving it all in.
Verna marries a Carson.
Yes.
Gets like she is Verna Carson Sawyer.
Yes.
Okay.
Or Verna Sawyer Carson.
Verna Sawyer Carson.
Yeah.
Okay. And then she has a child who is Loretta.
Yes.
Who does not take the Carson name and goes
back
to the
Sawyers because
and
that
says I'm going to be a Sawyer.
Right, because and you think about this. If you think about it in like the original terms and the family terms overall within the legacy of Texas Chainsaw, right? Saw's the family, right? Like it's the fucking that is their driving motivation, protect the family. Which is why the front doesn't make sense with fucking Dalton giving up Jebediah.
Saw's not family.
It would only make sense.
Drayton.
It would only make sense like if one of them got away, it would only make sense for the other ones to go get like Loretta and bring her back to the family.
Okay.
And I think what it was then Verna is justified and like she feels like she has to take action against them because they took out the Sawyers. They were like, I wasn't there to protect them, or whatever it may be.
She must be She feels guilt that all the rest
family
of her
died
family,
and she was away.
And she's like, the only people that are alive that I know of is Leatherface,
right,
and Heather. I'm gonna take Leatherface. I'm gonna let him sit in my basement.
So that's.
I'm gonna find Heather at some point in time when I feel like it.
So that's a thing that's not kind of like unspoken as well. Not so much just let him sit there.
Well, okay, yeah.
She lets him out periodically to go fucking kill and hunt some of those guys because you've noticed when he marks off some of the people on the things, people are already marked off.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So she lets him out and she kind of uses him as a weapon,
None of this was written in the film.
No. This is all stuff you had to piece together.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyways, where are we in the story?
So we're
back
still with Heather.
Heather is about to.
She hasn't even left to go to Texas.
No,
yet.
she just talks to her parents.
That was
So Heather comes
Have
back.
fun.
Heather comes back home. Now listen to me. Heather comes back home and surprise.
Surprise.
Ryan has brought everybody together. He's got Nikki, her best friend with the huge cleavage. He's got himself, and he's got Kenny. Kenny,
played by Rob Schneider.
Can we talk about Kenny real quick?
Did anybody think he looked like Rob Schneider?
According, is Kenny
Rob
Nikki's
Schneider.
boyfriend?
She's the guy she's talking about,
Yeah,
right at the beginning, where she's like, he makes amazing crepes. That's why I call him crepe guy.
Yeah,
or
I
whatever,
don't
and,
know what
the
his
chef.
deal was. I took it as, like how every slasher has like their group of friends. It's like the final girl, right? That is like either pure or
It's
something.
like level of caring
right.
about them.
You have the her boyfriend who is like an upstanding guy who ends up being an asshole. And then you have the overly sexed up one, who I think in this case is Nikki. Like,
Right.
I took it as
Yeah.
that this one, he was supposed to be an alternate version of the stoner that always gets killed at some point in time.
But he was never
But
stoned.
here's
He
the
was
thing.
never stoned.
Did
But I
anybody
felt like
else,
he
did
had
anybody
that
else take
feeling.
one look at him and be like, he's the only one who was cast age appropriate if you're going off the original script? The dude
Yes.
looked like he was 40.
He did look a little older.
Bro,
Dude is like
Yeah.
mid-40s.
I'm
I
watching
don't know
it
if
and I'm
it's
going.
true,
I'm
but-
going like, this can't be Nikki's boyfriend. This casting makes zero fucking sense.
It's a weird
Why
casting.
would she
Yeah.
be with the fucking dude who looks like he's a fucking dubstep DJ
Well,
in
especially
2000?
when you
Yeah.
see the little secret she has in the
Yes,
movie.
the little
Like, you're
secret.
like, what?
So they all just get together. They decide, you know
Can I
what?
just say before we progress further, the friends, absolutely useless, unnecessary to the entire film.
100% unnecessary. But they say, you know what? We were already planning to go to New Orleans. I don't know if it had something to do with the contract or they were just fucking going there.
Halloween, right? They were going for a Halloween party.
Sure.
Yeah, I was Halloween, and they were gonna go.
I
for
missed
Halloween.
I've done that before.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
missed that
let's go
part.
to
So
New Orleans
they're like,
for a
hey, you know
Halloween
what?
party.
Instead, we're going to go to Texas with you to show you support and be good friends, which I
Yeah.
was like, oh, what
Yeah.
a nice
Nice.
thing. What a nice thing.
It's kind.
They all seem so tight.
Yeah, they are
Yeah.
very tight. So what do? They
So
get
tight.
they get in a van, very much like the original film,
Why?
because
Why?
nature versus nurture, and we have to get back. It's
But
just
that's-
nature that we
so
would get
she
into the
just-
van and we would pick up a hitchhiker.
Nature is just like
Well, first
she
of all-
happens to date somebody who decides that's the van they should take on a road trip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I gotta say something, and we're gonna
Okay,
talk
so now
about
we're on the
this
road trip.
a lot, but there are a lot of weird, like forced callbacks.
Of course, yeah.
into
Oh my
this
God.
Totally.
film.
The armadillo flipped upside
Armadillo
down.
flip on
like,
that. I want to talk about some shots. We'll get to that later.
There's
but
tons
Shots,
of
for
cinematography
sure.
that's
yeah,
stolen. and-
but we'll go on. But yes, this was just the
Yeah.
first inkling of we're gonna take something from the original film and just shoehorn it right into
But
this.
this
Shoehorn
time,
it
much
we're
as
gonna
possible.
flip it.
Yeah.
We're gonna make him seem nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be, and then he's
So
gonna
they're
try-
in the torrential downpouring rain,
Rain.
which, like, I've never seen rain like that in my life.
Can I-
don't
Yeah,
I
you gotta
have-
get- You gotta drive
Have
out
you?
to Newt, Texas.
drive through fucking Oklahoma.
Okay.
Drive
Well,
through
that's
Oklahoma.
close to
do
Newt,
storm,
I'm sure.
do storm chasing. Yeah.
I have seen it.
Wow, that's incredible.
I have seen it like that. My favorite thing about this scene is the terrible writing in it, where
Oh,
it's
so
favorite thing
bad.
about this
It's so
movie.
bad.
it's just like, hey, let's get them in the van and have a cutesy moment where it's like, I took your card.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? I took your card.
You paid for the gas, bitch.
So fucking stupid and unnecessary. And then, like, how do you drive 5 feet and hit somebody? Like, the rain was bad, but dude, it wasn't that bad where you couldn't see the hitchhiker.
Well, I will say that,
That guy, I don't think that guy got hit. I think he slammed
yeah, I
his hand
think
on
he
it
pushed
and then jumped on the
purposefully.
ground.
I think
to
that was
act
part of
like
his
he was a
grift.
fucked up. Yeah, that was a grift.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Daryl was
That was
very
Daryl's grift.
charming, very charming.
I thought his
Hitchhiker.
character was going to be a little bit more of a manipulator.
Yeah, I
than he
thought so,
was
too.
sexually, actually.
Sexually.
Because it's just, the moment he
Nope,
shows
I'm
up, you
jumping
think
off.
this is going to be the person that's going to end up. I thought it was going to be the person that ends up with Heather at some point in time.
Oh, see?
But-
Oh, I thought it was going to be
I
the
thought
person who
Nikki.
ends up being one of the Sawyers or something.
Oh, no,
or
no.
part of that.
I-
Well,
clan.
that would make sense, right? Because we've seen the original film, but like that's not
Yeah.
not where
So-
this goes.
So I had no idea that Kenny was Nikki's boyfriend. So I took it like, okay, she can't have Ryan. So she's gonna move on to the handsome hitchhiker.
Oh, okay, that would make
and
sense too.
they'll get killed having sex because that's a trope. That's a slasher trope.
Yeah,
right.
You know. So I was like, that's what it will be. But they got me with a twist. He's just a robber.
He's just. We kind of skipped over this little point
Go back
though
to it.
too. Nikki and what is Heather's boyfriend's name? Ryan.
Ryan.
Nikki and Ryan have a thing.
Yes, they
fucking-
do.
They show you
been
that
fucking around.
when they're in the grocery store, there's something going on. Ryan doesn't want it to happen,
be
but
honest?
Nikki keeps pursuing.
To
It was-
be honest, I thought that was happening when she got home with the letter originally, because her friend just pops out randomly, and I was like, oh, these two were just fucking.
Oh, I didn't actually
What?
catch that, but
What?
I'll go
So
back
when
on
she
that.
comes home and he's collected the friends together, like,
Yeah.
whoa, we're all gonna go with you.
Yeah, yeah.
The way that the scene played out when I was watching it was like he seemed like kind of nervous and he was talking quickly, and then all of a sudden she just appears, and I was just like, right away I was like, I bet you $10 he's fucking her.
Well,
So
Yeah.
this is where we get a weird moment, right? Because again, with this whole scenario, I'm like, what are you trying to get me to feel, right? It's two weird positions, right? Because you're like, do I root for this guy or do I hate these two? Because it's like at one point, yes, they cheated, but he's like, hey, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. Like, get the fuck away from me. It was one time. It's
sorry.
never.
Do you think that's
it's
an
n-
automatic saving grace?
No, no,
Yeah,
no.
I don't,
it's-
I don't, I
Well,
don't
they're
like
they're
it
trying to tell
already.
you something about his character.
Right. So I'm like, maybe
Yeah,
he's
a piece of shit. That's
No.
what they taught me.
I don't know. Part of me is like, maybe he's a decent guy. He made a mistake one
No,
time.
Can I be honest?
This girl-
No. They explained the situation of how it happened. We got too drunk. That was
18
There's
kamikazes.
nothing. There's
Bro,
nothing
Can I
ridiculous.
tell
You
you,
tr-
that
hey,
dates
he
this
got
movie more than
fucking
anything.
drunk.
That they talk about kamikazes, like, oh man, so many kamikazes.
They
I'm
didn't
like,
connect on some weird level. There wasn't some like weird emotional implied.
She-
He's
They got
correct.
No.
drunk.
I agree.
Stop.
I
She-
agree.
no, disagree.
Okay.
I think Nikki,
She did it.
Nikki
She
feels it.
manipulated him.
Nikki feels a deeper connection than obviously he did. At least that's what he's trying to explain at this point. So you're like, at least it's a little bit redeeming, right? Hey, he made a mistake. He doesn't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
He's not
Yeah.
really a bad guy. He just made a fucking
He
mistake.
got fucked up, and
No.
she
Right.
took advantage of the situation.
Right.
I gave no still.
You still
piece of shit.
All right.
Okay.
Whatever.
That's not but that's what I felt like they were trying to establish. But I feel like what Chris just said is later on in the film their take on it is like, yeah, whatever. Fucking kill him.
They
Yeah.
killed that. I mean, but
Yeah.
at the begin, when you get that, like they're trying to show you, oh, I'm trying to do better.
Well,
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
that's what- yeah.
He has a redeeming quality is
Yeah.
what I'm trying to
I
say.
thought for sure
Yeah.
that would like translate into some like redemption towards the
It
end of
didn't.
the film.
No,
And,
it
like,
didn't.
Both characters just kind of died
No,
nonchalantly.
they became more
It's like,
pieces of shit. Is what
Right.
actually happened. That's interesting where those characters went for me because I was like, why did you make them so useless?
Dude, characters
totally useless.
the character
Unnecessary.
motivation in this movie is like trying to understand it is like a whole lesson on psychology.
so
It
anyways,
doesn't make
we're-
any sense.
yeah, we're in the van.
I'd like to get back to that scene at some point
Yeah.
in time because
Which one?
the sleeping scene.
we did
right?
talk
Or
about them
the-
already being killed at this point.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
we'll
Pick
talk
your-
about it. We're
pick
here
your
we're now.
scene.
Let's
Let's
just
do
talk
it.
about it.
Okay, so like the thing that actually does kind of bother me a little bit about that is that like, okay, so when you have like a boyfriend who is cheating on the protagonist of a film,
Right.
Sure.
right? Like part of the anticipation you're hoping is that protagonist finds out about this,
Right.
and
Yes.
responds
Yes.
in the right
Responds
way.
the
Gets
way
her justice.
A
Yes.
Sawyer might
By
respond.
the end of this film, it is assumed that she would never, probably ever, would ever have
Right.
figured that out.
Right.
They try to
Yeah.
I feel like they tried to hint at her figuring it out by just
When?
Never.
just having them
Never.
run out of the barn
No,
like
no,
half
no,
naked.
no.
clothes on.
I think she's a little bit more preoccupied with getting massacred at that.
I don't
think
moment.
she
I
thought
just
about it. I
don't
was like-
think she's thinking
I didn't
that.
either.
Isn't-
It's possible that
She had
in
no
retrospect
idea. Yeah.
she
She had
thought about
no
it and
idea.
said, "You know what the fuck?" But I don't.
No.
I just don't think.
She
in
had
a
no
weird
idea.
way, I kind of love that they did this because it was unexpected. Because we all wanted this, right? We
Yeah.
all wanted
We
justice
wanted-
for
yeah.
the fact that those two were fucking around, and like, so they run out, and yeah, okay, they get killed. But at the same time, like, it is never established ever again that this was ever a thing, that there was ever like anything to be
No.
suspicious of. For Alexandra Daddario's character, Heather, like she never addresses it, and it almost leaves you with this like, but like the kills didn't even really pay off.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
for that. Like,
No, that's what I'm saying. It's like what?
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying.
I
It's
don't even
like
know how her friend died. I think she just got hauled away and chopped up, right?
no.
I actually don't know how Nikki died. I
She-
remember how the other.
the van
Well-
tips
Yeah.
over. She's gone. They say that
Yeah.
she's
We'll get
gone.
We'll get into it.
gone.
We'll get into it.
I
I'll
know
tell
what
you.
happens,
I know what
but
happens
yeah.
too. I'll tell you
He
here in a
gets
second.
like cut. I don't.
Stop.
You can't even fucking see what
Stop.
happens.
Cody remembers.
Sorry.
Stop.
Go
Just
ahead. Go ahead.
stop, because
Go
we're
ahead.
not there. We're still in the fucking van traveling to
I'm
the
sorry.
house.
Well, it sounds like we're in the van upside down, though.
No, we're not. The van is
God.
still up right
Still
side
right
up.
side.
So
And the engine's running. It's all great still.
Cruising.
So we pick up we pick up a hitchhiker. We drive to the house. We'll just get to the house. We're
Yeah,
we're
we're
at the
here.
house. This is one of my
That guy from all those other movies shows up.
this is one of my
the
favorite. Oh,
paperwork.
I know. The lawyer shows
Is
up.
that Brimley?
It's Brimley. No, it's not
Oh,
Brimley. It's
Is that the diabetes
that's not
guy?
Brim-
No, it's not
No,
the
No, no,
diabetes
no,
guy.
no, it's not. It's not. He's yeah, he's from other
He's
stuff.
very. He looks
Said
just like him.
he's from a lot of other stuff.
But
Can
anyway,
I tell you what you probably know him most from is from like Office Space, I think. It's
Yes.
the one where he's
Okay.
just like,
Yeah.
what do
Paranoid-
you mean I don't do anything here? I'm a people person. Like he's that guy.
Yeah.
So anyway, the lawyer, and I love this part because it's such a fucking movie thing. Now make sure you open that letter. Of course. Of course
Bro,
she doesn't
my,
open it.
My fucking that was
Oh,
my
okay.
mantra this whole film. Every time something shitty happened, I just be like, you
Mm,
just
So
read
she's
that
standing
fucking
out
letter.
front of her. She's
You
standing
just
out front
read
of
the
her property.
goddamn letter.
Yeah.
That would have been the first thing I
Dude,
did.
I'm sorry, but like when they pulled up to that gate, like that was the most Spirit Halloween looking fucking gate and rocks I've
Yeah.
ever seen. Like I was like, what fucking haunted attraction
I,
are we at right now?
I also want to talk about the moment of this film that really like irked me.
Was
around
was
this
it that?
scene.
Was it that?
No, it's okay. So
I'm
there
excited
is
to
the
find out what this
there's
is.
an iconic shot in
Oh, her
Texas
butt.
Chainsaw,
Looking up.
right where it's
Yep.
looking up, and you
Mhm.
know, it's the interesting thing about this is that I just recently had saw like a kind of like a weird trend that was going on social media where people were debating that shot, right, about whether it was a shot that was focused in a sexual way towards her, right, in the original,
Yeah.
right, or whether or not it was a cleverly made shot that shows the impendingness of this house that she's moving.
That's what I would go
tend
with.
to believe that it is the latter.
I
Right?
agree.
That it's not some overtly sexual shot where we're just looking at her butt. I always looked at it as like,
Yeah.
yeah, she's coming up to this house
It's a
and they're
beautiful shot.
trying to build
Yeah.
this
I think
It's
I
iconic.
It's,
place.
it's fair to say it's both. I think.
You know what?
Yeah.
I actually
Yeah.
will give it a grade. There is a sexual nature to that shot
Yeah.
that I feel like we can't
it's the
ignore.
only it's the only bit that first movie really has because that first movie
Right.
has a little
But
bit of that
here's
energy.
the thing I don't like about it is that they recreate.
Oh
Do
yeah.
you need to say something?
I
before
need to
get
say
here?
yes.
Okay, go.
I need to
go
say
ahead.
things. So I would say maybe there's only a sexual energy in the original because we are men looking at it rather than women. And I would argue because Gunnar Hansen, I watched the special features on this movie because I own this movie.
Okay.
In it, he specifically says the original. He's like, everybody reads all this shit into the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie of like post, families after post-war, blah 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 blah. He goes, we were just trying to make a good horror movie,
Sure.
They
and
weren't
I
digging that deep.
I was not
Yeah.
digging that deep. I
Yeah.
honestly think you're
But
more.
making a good horror movie it includes making artistic shots.
I
that-
think
that
no.
build
I
suspense.
Yeah, there's a
no,
lot of
and I think
subcon-
that's
there's a lot
exactly
of
what they were trying to
subconscious
make.
that can
Okay.
feed
I'm
into those
arguing against the
decisions.
sexualization of it. I don't think in the
Yeah.
original they were trying to sexualize it at all. Where in this one they were.
Here's the thing. I think there's a bit of sexualization that may have occurred in that scene. I've always looked at that scene as more so about taking a character and putting her up against
It's a great perspective shot.
It's a
Yes.
perspective shot.
The problem with that is
But-
I'm pretty sure I have to go back to rewatch it, but I'm pretty sure like the shot is focus on her butt and then rack focus to the house, so it at least stays on. Like if it was focused on the house through the whole shot and she was slightly out of focus,
I think
then I would say
gets a-
you're pushing more of an
There's
impending.
no doubt they're capturing all of that in one shot. Like
Right.
they're
Yeah.
obviously
But
showing
the
you a
choice of what
woman's
the
butt
ch-
cheeks
the
that
choice of what you're focusing on.
yeah, and,
is
but also
telling
look
the
at
tone.
we're not even
We're getting
including
very
the
off
sky or
topic,
the
'cause this is
clouds
not
in that
what I
shot.
wanted to
That's
talk
what the
about with this
amazing
shot.
part is.
No. I think it's honestly. I think it's a really good analysis of taking a look at one particular shot that's from
Right.
the original to the sequel.
But I want to talk about the sequel because
Yeah.
the problem I had with the sequel is not so much that they just recreated the shot. They recreated the shot where they're focusing on trees. It's not like as far as I understand, there was no house in
No,
that shot.
No, it was the
They shot-
impendingness of the forest.
Yeah, it was the impendingness of the forest.
True.
Which to me, it was just like, okay,
True.
like that's not like if we're gonna say that original shot was about Leatherface is in the house
you and us
she's going
saying
into
that.
this dangerous
Yeah.
place. They're recreating a shot, and they're now not doing
I'm
it.
willing
We
to-
don't even get to Leatherface until way later.
I'm willing to bet that the amount of thought that you're putting into it was not put into it. I think it was like, oh, you know that shot when it's looking up from her butt and we're going up the road? Let's do it here. Yeah, okay,
But I'll
perfect.
argue-
Boom,
No,
let's go.
That's
and there was no like, oh, we should do this because it's an impending
yes,
thing.
but that's my problem with it. That's why that's why
That's
it
what he's
upset
saying.
me,
You're,
is
thinking,
that,
you're saying
like,
it's gratuitous. It's not creative.
It's just
Yeah.
gratuitous,
Yeah.
and it doesn't really have the same
Okay.
effect
It doesn't
as
really-
the original shot.
Or does
so
it
why
really
pull it?
Or does it really call back to the original shot because
really.
the house
It's
is
just a callback.
I mean, I
It's-
recognized it.
It is fan service. That's how I read it.
I
That
mean,
is
Which
fan
we
fan
agree,
service
there's a
and
lot of
this
that
and the,
shit
and
in
the
here.
anime
Tons,
way.
tons. This whole movie is fan service.
All right, guys, let's do this. I want to take a break, and when we come back, I want to talk about some more character motivation that just doesn't make any sense. Because we're talking about Texas Chainsaw 3D when we come back. And we're back talking about Texas Chainsaw 3D. As I was saying before we took a break, I wanted to get into some character motivation again that didn't make sense to me at this one because I feel like this is just a life lesson, especially by 2012. We should know, right? Which is don't trust the hitchhiker.
Yeah,
Never.
that's so
Don't-
weird.
Trust the hitchhiker. Who says, yeah, he's such a nice guy. Let's leave him here alone?
Yeah, that's the most insane. I didn't even
He's
understand how that happened.
He's like, I'll just grab all your shit and go inside, and you guys go do whatever.
That was
It's
such
cool.
a weird thing that they allowed to have happen.
Yeah,
Right.
Like, there's
Like,
no fucking
and
way I'd be like,
he-
yeah, go ahead.
he
hang
put
out.
like zero real effort into convincing them that
No.
he should stay behind. Like he just mentioned it in passing.
I'll tell you what he had.
they were
He
like,
had,
"Yeah,
he had
man."
piercing blue eyes and a smile that could light up a
Super
room.
That's what it
deep
was.
V,
Yeah.
That's
whatever was going
My
on
man
with
had,
that
like,
shirt.
That
Yeah.
cut.
So while they're
Looked like fucking Fred from Scooby Doo.
Damn.
I was about to say, Fred, I thought you were like Flintstone. I'm like, my man.
You better
no.
clarify. I don't know
Yeah.
why I saw Fred from Scooby Doo in this guy.
so while they're like, hey, let's go to the grocery store and let's get some groceries. My favorite thing about this dude, like going through the house and them being at the grocery store, is that as he's going through the house, he just throws their bags down, which would probably have like more modern stuff in it than like, a silver
Yeah.
candlestick. When I get silver's worth money, no,
Yeah,
I understand this. Steal that too. But he like never goes through their bags, and I was like so weirded out. He just throw that away like other clothes aren't valuable.
I'm just thinking to myself, like, okay, what's this guy's plan? He's gonna carry fucking 80 pounds of silver where?
Yeah.
Like
It-
where's he gonna take it and sell it?
Dude, it was becoming a joke because it was like just another. I was like, that's got to be all the silver, and then it's like he pops into a new room and starts grabbing more silver.
Yeah, like, but this bag's not getting any
What the f-
fuller.
Also, can I tell you the thing that really bothered me during this entire like theft scene was that like he's got all this stuff, right? Let's say he has it, right?
Yeah.
Like he has to be thinking of the ticking clock of these people coming back,
Right.
right? And he takes all this time when he sees this locked door to be like, nope, I am going to try to get into this door. He is so convinced
Mhm.
there is like gold bullion back there. or some
Yeah.
It's
shit.
like, oh, fucking
Like,
old
I
bitch
don't
is
know
seller.
what the fuck
What's
this guy
down
thinks
here?
is definitely in there. That he's like, oh, I got to get into this room. That's the most important
I
thing.
know he's
Well,
so
it's
determined.
because Mike.
Snatch and grab.
the
You gotta
most-
go.
Yeah, he's got to get the fuck out of there.
Because Mike, the most valuable thing in the house obviously has to be linked to the biggest key on the keychain.
He has it. It's
Very
like some fucking
Scooby-Doo as
ridiculous
well.
keychains, like
That
something you get out of a video game. It's
it
just
is-
like the key to the city.
It is sound logic.
That
Giant
is his thought. No,
skeleton
that
key.
is the character
It
thought
is.
process.
It looks
I
at
would
it.
think the same thing if
It's the
I'm being
most
honest.
cartoon logic that I've ever
big
seen.
key.
Yeah.
It shines.
It says this door's the size of a bat.
It's
That means there's
made of
gotta be
gold.
big guns and big old things behind this door.
It's fucking like the
It's
Zelda
just a fucking
Master Key. He's
skeleton
gonna
key,
get
bro.
into the
So
fucking
true.
dungeon.
That's a skeleton
That's what
key.
drives me crazy about this movie. Is like everybody's so fucking stupid. They're all stupid.
Well, he
a
has
lot
no
of
reason to
dumb-
think there's
lot
any
of dumb to go
danger
around.
there. He thinks this woman just inherited this empty house.
Right, Chris. I don't think he's thinking of danger, but his connection is big key, big reward.
Also, I know that too, but also I'm like, he goes down into the cellar and like the fucking lamps on. I'm like, you know, if this was the first time they were all arriving together, I'd think there'd be no lamps on.
Can I also No, that implies, and they also imply this with the food by the fucking door that's been eaten.
Oh yeah,
that this lady who knows how long ago she died.
Is she still dead in the house?
No.
Is that a hallucination?
She's definitely dead in the house.
She's dead in the house, right?
No,
I think she's taxidermied.
Hold on.
Into that chair.
Still dead.
With a glass of wine in her hand.
That's where I got confused, but then I put it all together. I actually thought
please help.
I will get into that because I was like, wait, she's been upstairs.
I jumped. I'm sorry.
I went two places. with that. When I first saw her in the chair, I was like, wait, but we saw her buried. Right? Because when you see that it's 2012, it's her grave. It's Verna's grave that you see.
Yeah.
And it's covered with dirt.
Fresh.
Now, Heather jumps into her grave when the friends are having their little moment. Her boyfriend and her jumps into her grave because Leatherface had dug the body up and put it back into the house.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. That's why it's in there.
Thank you. That made no
How many times do you have to
sense
watch
to
that
me.
to catch it?
I thought that was like a continuity error.
No.
I literally was like, I
so,
didn't understand.
That's like a fucking
connect.
dark move on his part.
Wait, why did he do that?
So
that's intimidation. Intimidation.
Like I say, Leatherface not known for his thinking skills.
Right.
Like,
8-year-old.
So one thing that we know about him.
So basically what I took from it is he gets this guy, right? He gets Daryl, kills Daryl with the hammer. I don't know if you saw Daryl's face smashed in because I saw the unrated.
Daryl's face gets smashed in.
Pretty cool kill. Could have lingered on it a little bit longer. It was a little cut a little quick for me.
It was a fast death.
But cool death. Regardless,
very reminiscent of the
he
original
finds
too.
he finds the key where the big key goes in the door. Although he tries to it's so funny because he's like, I wonder where this big key goes, and then he kicks at the door for like a half hour, picks at it with his knife, and you're like, dude, you had the keys the whole time. You fucking we're looking for the specific door for the specific key.
You need to stretch out that runtime.
And now you're kicking
He's dead.
kicking into it with a pocket knife.
So this guy dies.
Yes.
Wait, who's this? Who's dying?
Daryl.
The key master.
Hitchhiker.
The
So,
key master, the hitchhiker, gets his face bashed in.
My theory,
Which, by the way, can I just say, like, starting off, like, eye rolling. I know you said it's pretty cool, but all I could see was just CG blood. Like, and then that's a really bad problem with the rest of this movie.
Maybe I saw something different because I watched the unrated version. I own this. I saw hammer into practical effect.
Yeah, I did see that too.
I think it was a quick shot in the one I saw. Just a quick shot. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw
like face cave. I think
cave,
a little bit, and I was like, ooh, okay.
Yeah, I saw into practical effect. So
no,
I don't know.
So,
I actually don't remember. I think it was too dark or something.
My theory is because they go to the. My theory is after he kills this guy and takes him into his lair, he realizes where has my caretaker been this whole time, and he goes out and digs her body up and puts her back up while the kids are at the store, and then when they come back, he comes back to the he already has put the body up and all that stuff.
Right, it's an intimidation.
I don't think it's no. I don't take it as intimidation.
He's been let out now.
He's
wondering where his caretaker is.
Think about this. It's grandpa. It's the new grandpa. Put the body up in there. It's still a family member. It's still there.
I never thought about that. That's actually not a bad logic.
Yeah. Like in his mind, it's who took care of him.
It took a while for him to put her up there.
Right. Yeah. He had some things to do.
Clothed her.
He had to eat some ribs.
Well, she was clothed in the grave, I would imagine.
He was locked behind a door.
But I feel like those clothes didn't look like really ratty or anything.
No, she was freshly buried. That's when you see the 2000 grave. It's freshly done.
I mean, I guess
I
that
didn't even
makes
see
sense.
any dirt on her in the chair or anything. He brushed her up good.
Yeah.
Polished her up.
He got the vacuum out.
We do know one thing. Leatherface is very into specifics, right?
He's got the can of air. He's getting the folds.
He's really thankful he got the Dyson.
So they go to the grocery store because Kenny's now going to cook for them. Kenny, the character that fucking no one asked for.
Crepes.
Crepes shows up.
Rob Schneider.
Crepes.
So everybody comes back to the house, and this is like the weird thing to me is like everybody's gonna party, but party separately.
Yeah. So
Dude,
So
the
worst fucking party.
the boyfriend playing.
It's not very
playing
Night of the Demons.
like 1,000 games of pool by himself. Like
Right.
just keeps shooting pool by himself.
Like everybody's kind of like off doing their
Wild.
own thing. Crepes, he finds the butler of the quarters.
Yes.
Yeah, he pushes the wall
He
open,
did find the butler room.
He found the food.
which
Yeah.
everyone always walks in and is like, "Oh, this is so fancy." Like they always look around, like
Right.
it's like, "Wow."
And you instantly know he's gonna die because he goes downstairs and he follows the whole blood trail thing, or goes downstairs and gets
Fucking keys.
the hook
In the back.
which was good.
What'd you guys think of like the downstairs, the basement as a setting, and like the whole stairway? Because that was utilized a few times in the movie.
I have a huge problem in the sense that I don't understand why, and I had the same problem with the movie Barbarian. Like, okay,
Mhm.
you're walking by. There's a scene in that one thing where they see a dark like hallway down into a basement. I don't know what is the lure of a dark basement that people are just like, I gotta investigate more.
Yeah.
Me, I'm absolutely
the
like,
opposite, yeah.
fuck
Yeah.
you.
Well,
Absolutely
I see
and-
dark
not
basement
going
and
down
go to
there.
the light.
But everybody was like, yeah,
Yeah.
especially
If
fucking
the light
hitchhiker.
switch is downstairs in the basement, I'm just not gonna go
Well,
down
the
there.
lamp was
Fucking
on. The
anywhere
lamp
was
in
on.
there.
Yeah, you know
The
what they
lamp was
say.
on.
That's true.
Lights
If I
on.
see a light on, I'm definitely not going down there because then I'm like, there's a
Yeah,
person
someone's
down there. Someone's down there.
I'm thinking
That
someone's
light wasn't down there the whole time.
So as fucking Kenny is being dragged down into the basement, what we have going on is we crepes.
Crepes.
We have Nikki. Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
I have Kenny in my notes, but I'm not even really sure that's his name.
It's Kenny.
So, anyways, he gets dragged down the cellar. As this is happening, this is where we get like the scene where Nikki is like, "Oh my God, you
She's
gotta,
pining after
yeah,
him.
Yeah.
pining after
Hurry,
Ryan.
come.
You gotta see this." And
Well,
It's
what-
horrible.
Not-
but
not
you have
quite
to
yet, but
establish.
yeah.
We're not there yet, but you establish she's like basically drinking alone on the balcony,
Staring at him.
staring
Playing
at
pool.
him as he plays an aggressive game of solo pool.
And again, as everybody parties alone, and I
Yeah.
don't even know what Heather is doing at this point. I can't
Yeah,
remember.
where is she?
I think she's investigating the house because this is where she finds.
She's looking at the
Verna.
family
Yeah,
pictures, and
looking
she's
around,
yes,
trying to
she's
figure
doing that
things
stuff.
out.
Right,
I forgot.
you're 100% correct. That's what I'm saying. It's so like
I totally forgot about that.
so Nikki leads Ryan out
don't
into the
remember that.
barn. Nikki leads Ryan out to the barn.
Yeah.
Heather is looking at the staircase and all the pictures.
Which, by the way, it's so far away, and she's like playing this up and playing this up. It's like it's not even sounding convincing. Like halfway through this,
Right.
she's like, "Come on, it's horrible. It's horrible."
And she underneath the bucket is a shot glass and some liquor.
He's trying
Yeah.
to go kamikaze.
And then she goes,
Great that night.
she says, so you think Heather's got a body?
Yeah, she said
Wait
clothing,
till
she said
I-
clothing optional.
Get in my bra and underwear and then see what you think.
And then what do
Yeah.
we think?
Yeah. And then you'll be
wow.
trapped.
Say, where's Heather?
Yeah, where's Heather now?
That was the thought process. Here's the thing. I don't understand how they thought they were gonna get away with this logistically. I just don't understand.
Exactly. It
Like
just-
honestly, like
it's nonsense.
Look.
Here's the thing, Mike.
yeah.
We talked about it earlier. Logistically, they do.
I mean, they do.
They didn't intend on
But
getting
like,
murdered.
really, the only way they got away is if a Leatherface exists.
Yeah.
Maniacal killer.
I hope that a killer shows up and keeps her busy while we're fucking.
Yeah. Hey, it's better than admitting we fucked.
Right. 110%. My favorite thing about this scene, because I've been waiting to get to this part in the fucking movie.
The barn?
Yes.
Okay.
And well, so let me get into this. So she finds the body. She runs out of the house. This is my
Mhm.
two of my
Hides
other
in the grave.
two of my other
Oh, the grave.
two of my other
Grave.
favorite parts that happen in this movie is Heather comes running after she sees Vernon. She comes running out of the house with Leatherface chasing her. She totally final girl trope
Mhm.
falls coming down the slippery stairs.
Every time.
Dude, can we talk about the amount of spills this woman
Yeah.
takes
Oh
my
in
God.
this movie?
It
At least
dropped.
3.
It made me laugh 'cause you were saying
Hardcore.
that. When you were saying that, I remembered Sammy during the movie. She's like, when she spilled trying to jump the fence into the
Yes,
grave.
right after that.
Sammy was like, "Geez, she already fucked that knee up
Yeah.
once."
Dude, she gets hit by a car at some point.
That was my next point I was gonna go to. She then runs.
tank.
She then
She's a Sawyer.
runs to the graveyard that has literally an ankle-high fence that she fucking trips over.
Biffs
It's like
it, bro.
it's like the worst. It's like, okay, now you're just fucking doing it on purpose.
Yeah.
Now you're just
100%.
doing it on purpose.
I'm like, who's doing this on purpose? Is this in the writing, or did someone
Right.
say like, it would be cool if you fell twice in a row?
right?
They probably just like, whoever edited it.
She and then she
Sorry.
hides behind a gravestone
Yeah.
with Leatherface 5 feet away.
I was like, how dark is it out there?
Right, that he can't see her
I
crawl
mean, granted,
20 feet
he's
to
got
an open
he's
grave.
got a mask on,
An
but
open grave that she then locks herself into a coffin.
Right, which was her grandmother's coffin, right?
yeah.
And then what happens? Of course, Leatherface knows where he is, or she is, and this is where I'm like, this is my favorite fucking. Again, this movie just makes no fucking sense, right? So what we have is Leatherface,
Yeah.
who's 400 feet away from the barn. I mean, he's far, mile and a half from the barn. That's not that far.
Mile and a half.
It's not that far, but
Not
it's
that far. It's like
it's not-
200 yards, maybe.
The
It's
football
not that
field.
far.
The football field.
it's you say a football field.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, even if it's a half a football field,
It's a football field.
Let's say
even if it's half a football
50
field,
yards is not that
let's
far,
say
but okay.
let's say this: Leatherface is full on throttling chainsaw into a
In the mode.
into a fucking with a casket,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Wah! This bitch yells from a football field away, "Hey!" and he hears it,
It's, uh,
and he hears it.
It's like he looks up like a dog. It's like,
Bruh,
what?
huh?
What? Me?
She how? How? How can he's wearing a mask?
And what did she say? What the fuck are you doing?
Right? And he hears it.
And he's like,
Yeah.
never mind.
And
I'm
he-
off this mission.
Not only does he hear it, like you guys said, he hears it like a fucking dog.
Yeah,
Like,
just like-
"Huh?"
and then he just comes running,
And then he comes running.
sprinting.
And what do?
They run.
They stand there.
Yeah, they're like, oh, wait, hold on, let's just see.
Let me
Yeah.
ask, let me ask
Do
you
they
all.
stand
Let me
there?
ask you all a question. All right, you're staying in a cabin.
Yeah.
Let's say Prescott or something
Okay.
like that, right? And then you hear a sound. You hear a chainsawing.
Yeah.
You go outside.
In your
Is your
underwear.
first instinct to go, "Hey!" or is your first instinct to be like, "The fuck is going on
Look,
over there?"
here's another
My first
question.
instinct just to hide
Yes!
in the shadows and kind of just sneak a peek.
First of all, no one would do that.
No
but
one
also,
would do it.
also, if you're already fucking around behind someone's back, aren't you gonna be like, let's throw our fucking clothes on so
Yeah.
it doesn't look like
Well,
we were
no,
just fucking?
they were putting on clothes as they were running out
She
because
had her pants off the
they
whole
hear
time.
they hear because they were putting back clothes back on because they were in the middle of the action, but they hear a
They had
chainsaw
to
going
run
off.
halfway
hear a
across a giant
chainsaw,
barn
though.
to get the fuck out of there.
Can I tell
I mean,
you
the other
something?
thing is that maybe they heard Heather scream.
So-
That
and
barn's
maybe
massive.
that is like
Huge.
what connected
That's-
them to this, but
That's what I'm saying. They stay there and they just watch this motherfucker run up so that they run into a barn, right? And they lock themselves in this barn. And yeah, I don't know what the depth
They
perception
came
was.
from the barn.
I know, but I don't. What I'm saying is, I don't know what the depth perception was on the lens in the barn, but that barn looked like it went on for fucking
It's what I'm
miles.
saying. That was massive.
massive.
Like,
Massive barn.
They had to-
Massive.
they had to check their steps, dude, by the time they got to the fucking bucket. They're like, fuck, dude, what's bad? That's what I was saying. Is she had to keep egging him on. Like, come on, it's really, really bad. Come on. Oh, my God, it's fucking bad. Hurry.
So they do is they run. And they grab weapons, and there's a whole fucking.
Oh.
It tells you how big this barn is, because there's also a whole truck in this barn,
Oh, there's a parking lot
and
in the barn.
they're still 6 miles after the truck of barn. But
She does grab a shotgun.
She grabs
Yeah.
the shotgun
Yes.
and she says the first like cringe line, not the first cringe
Not the
line,
first.
not the first cringe line, but
but yeah.
but the one that makes you like really cringe.
Yeah,
is go,
yeah, yeah.
Welcome to Texas, bam.
Wasn't it Welcome to Texas, motherfucker?
Something
Yeah.
like that.
It
Yeah.
was something
Yeah.
very, very heavy-handed and like
Yeah.
just Oh yeah, cringe.
And the thing I hate about this is that it blows a huge fucking chunk in the barn where Leatherface would have been, and there's no damage to him.
Like, did you hit him? Did you hit him?
Right, none. And they're like, I don't know, until a fucking truck comes, another truck, which also still fits into this barn.
Yep.
2 trucks length.
Yep.
Comes
You gotta be
ramming
able to pull
in.
up, throw your hay.
This barn is so big. Listen to this shit. This is insane. I just put this together.
It's like 6 football fields.
Think about this. This barn is so big.
Yeah.
That she grabs a shotgun out of a truck inside the barn. He plows through the barn in a truck, and those trucks don't even crash.
No, they don't.
Those trucks
He
are-
is not
There's
in
at least
it.
3 trucks worth of space
Heather is the one
between
driving
the
the
2
truck.
trucks.
Heather's the
Really?
one
Is it
driving it.
5
Oh, you're
trucks
right. No,
worth?
it's Heather
Heather's
driving the van.
the truck, and then they
Yes.
both nakedly
right.
get in the car, and there's no.
And she doesn't
yeah,
question it.
There's nothing.
Well, no, at that
I
point,
mean, I'll be honest with you. I think
I'm not
situation
questioning
as
it.
it stands, I'm not even thinking.
I'm not.
About
Yeah, I'm not thinking about that.
Correct. You are way
I
too.
will, no,
Get
I
the
will say
fuck outta
Survival
here.
mode for that.
For a split second, I will think to myself, "Why are your clothes off?"
Yeah.
And then I
Eventually.
get back into
Yeah.
it.
I
Let's
also-
get the
Actually-
fuck out of here.
Actually-
Why are your clothes off? We'll get to that later.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I also it's not even that situation. It gets a little more chauvinistic at this point because it's not even that situation where she's like Heather's like, "Hey, get in the car." No, it's like Ryan who ends up driving.
That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty
It's Ryan.
much.
So Ryan at some point is like, "Give me the keys."
Yeah,
Get the
why-
fuck outta
Why
here.
would
Yeah.
you do that? Why would you do that? Be like,
You're
I
hysterical.
I drive.
Yeah. Hey, you know I drive.
All right, so they're going crazy. They're driving, and then he cuts into the van, right?
Yes, he cut.
He
Well,
does.
But
No,
does
no,
he
no.
cut into the
Not yet.
person?
not,
He cuts into the tire.
No, 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 not yet.
Not yet.
He just skins the van on
Oh
this
my
one.
God,
Okay.
this fucking
They-
shot. This
they-
fucking shot.
They are driving, I mean, at least 30 miles an hour at this fucking gate.
Oh, the gate.
yeah.
and
Fucking gate.
and
That
she's
gate
Heather's
does
yelling.
not budge.
Heather's yelling at him,
Spirit
the
Halloween
fucking
gate.
gate. You gotta open the gate
Gotta open the
first. You
gate.
gotta open the gate.
Gotta.
This
Gotta.
asshole's like, I'm gonna ram the gate in my Suzuki. And
Volkswagen,
the
right?
no, it's like a Suzuki, dude.
Oh shit.
He like runs this thing in 30 miles an hour, and it just
Bounces.
farts. It's just a fart of a scene.
But can I be
Bangs
honest?
off
That
it.
gate would be fucked up, and it would not be opening after that.
No,
Here's
no,
what I say to
feel
myself.
Like that, I feel like that gate didn't even burn.
It would be
burst
off
the sweat.
track. It would
That-
not be
no,
working.
I feel
Listen.
like that gate held at like
They
it could
hit
handle
this-
more.
They hit this motherfucker 30 miles an hour.
It's a great
No-
gate. It's a
No,
well-made
it's
gate.
a great gate, but here's
Nah.
my problem.
Yeah.
Here's my problem with it.
Yes.
They act like they hit it at 2 miles an hour. Like it's
Yeah.
a
Oh,
bump.
man.
There's no one's like, oh, I hit my head on the steering wheel. Fuck, I'm so dizzy, I'm out of it.
Yeah, it was more
No
like,
one's like
wow,
that. Everyone's
didn't
like,
work.
oh, that didn't work. Shit. What do we shit?
Well,
Shit,
it's not
he's
turning
coming.
on now.
Shit. He's coming. What do we do? I don't know. Start the car again. You gotta open the
He
gate.
couldn't start the car though. It wasn't starting
Yeah,
because
it
he
was-
smashed up the front.
It's like
Yeah,
a
you
real
just
Evil
destroyed
Dead
the fucking-
moment
Yeah.
where it's just
And
like the
can
car
I
can't
can I
start,
tell
the
you
car
guys
can't
something?
start.
The production's argument of why the gate would not open and why it stopped the truck is literally because it opens inward.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody caught on to that.
It
That
does
was-
open
I don't
inward.
think
Yeah.
that makes a difference, quite honestly.
I don't think it does either,
personally.
but I think
a
production-wise,
car
they were
wrecks-
I
wrecks the gate every
assumed that
time.
the Sawyer would have paid to have a really strong fucking
Yeah.
gate
yeah, good gate.
installed. Like,
Gotta put a good
feel
gate.
Like
that's a
paper
Sawyer
mache.
move,
the
you
car,
know?
Carson's, yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
like I feel like that gate was
Anyways.
intentional.
Holy fuck, dude! So we have skipped over a huge.
Did we?
I mean, we haven't really
huge-
Did we
skipped
skip over
anything.
anything
Yes,
that's
we
worth?
did. We skipped over a huge fucking point in this
Continue.
movie.
Go
What-
ahead.
What did we
I
skip?
Go ahead.
gotta go back. We
Go back,
gotta
please.
go
we,
back.
can, we can edit it in.
We gotta go back to where the kids
Edit.
are at the grocery store.
The 22-year-old kids.
Wow, we're going that far back?
The
Yes.
39-year-old
Okay.
kids.
We're at the grocery store when the robber is stealing.
Right.
We have to go this far back because we forgot to introduce Bert is back. The fucking mayor.
True.
We
Bert
find out
shows
that
up,
that
yeah.
Bert he's been after killing this
Yeah, the
family, he's
Sawyer's
been
murderer.
promoted to mayor.
Yeah, he's now mayor of the town of Newt.
Right. And we also meet we mentioned him a little bit with the handsome cop. We get to meet the handsome cop, and he tells her what wood to buy. If you want a good fire, don't buy this wood. Don't buy this wood if you want a,
I
a
really
blazing fire.
didn't know why
Even-
this character existed.
Yeah.
Like
For
this
the
is-
twist.
Unnecessary.
It was for the
I-
twist.
Unnecessary.
and also like just another cringe actor, honestly. In
Right.
this movie.
You mean the son, right? The son.
Or Bert? Are you talking Bert or the son? Which one? They're both
Son,
cringe.
I love
Dealer's
Bert,
choice.
actually.
Stop! You love Bert.
I do.
Dealer's choice. You can get rid of both.
The
I feel like
son-
I feel like
Okay.
Bert is actually one of my top favorite characters. In
The
this movie.
son, as soon as a hitchhiker is outed as a thief
Yeah.
and killed, the moment I realize like the new police, the good-looking police officer is involved, I think, oh, this is the guy that's going to
Right.
date Heather.
Anybody feel like he got like some like someone got costuming wrong and his clothes were just like way too baggy or something?
Perhaps.
Yeah, he definitely looked like
Possibility.
he was wearing
That $8
dad's
million
like fucking
Yeah.
rental
Here-
cop shit or something.
Well, here's my question.
Everyone was
Is-
driving a Ford Taurus,
Here's-
like police
Hold
car.
on. No, here's my question with that real quick with the costuming of the cop. Is he wearing does anyone remember, and you may not remember because this is such a fucking stupid thing to stick out in my
Okay,
mind.
please do.
Say it.
But was he wearing like khaki pants or like
Yeah, khaki. It was a khaki
green
shirt,
or
I
something?
think.
No, it's a
Green
green
pants?
shirt, but the pants is
Oh,
what
well, I
I'm
guess I was way wrong.
Something cargo pants.
because
I don't know.
we do a butt shot again later on in the movie and it's the sheriff and he's wearing jeans and I'm like, why is he wearing jeans and a fucking in a t-shirt? That seems kind of like unprofessional, but whatever. He's
Yeah,
the
it's
sheriff.
Texas.
And then later on, you see the fucking cop again, and he's the
They
handsome
seem
cop,
like khakis.
and he's wearing jeans and the thing and the cop shirt. And I'm like, was it like Casual Friday where they
I
now
think-
wear jeans?
I think
Can I-
cops
can I- hold
have to
on.
wear the khakis,
I
and
feel
then
I feel like the townsfolk of Newt are just casual.
I mean, I'm sure they
Yeah.
are. I
You
just
know
didn't
what
know
I
if
mean?
jeans
Like-
are. I didn't know jeans played a prominent
Yeah,
role when he
they're
showed
like
up the first time, and I
regulations.
just
Also-
put too much emphasis on the
Jeans.
jeans.
Can we talk about something? Here's the thing. Since we're on this scene, why is Bert like, yo, I want to buy the land?
because I think
He
he
knows.
knows something's there
yeah,
up there.
He knows
His friends are
Jebediah's
dying,
up
and
there.
he knows some shit's going
yeah,
on.
yeah.
And he just
Yeah,
can't
but,
exactly.
prove it.
People are getting picked off.
He is a member of law enforcement. He doesn't.
He's the mayor.
He's a mayor. He's not a member of law
Oh,
enforcement.
fucking even better. Okay, great. He doesn't need to buy the land to fucking investigate.
Oh my
No.
god. Yeah, he could pursue a legal right.
Just like go in.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I think
I'm
Leatherface
gonna be
is
honest,
That's not
there.
how
that
small
feels,
towns do
that
it.
feels like a lot more work
I-
than
Yeah,
just
I
kinda
if
took
I
it-
buy this billion-dollar
buying
mansion,
it is
So-
I
easier.
can investigate.
Also, wasn't it like
Here-
she just died?
Actually, you know
he
what?
didn't have time to go in there and just fucking
No.
infiltrate.
Here, I'm putting it together. He did
Hmm.
not. He fucking did not know that Leatherface was there. He did not know.
why does he want the land so badly?
I have an answer for it
You think
because
he's like a
no, because a Sawyer shows up out of nowhere and is at that house. You don't want a Sawyer back in your town after you've killed their whole family. You want the Sawyers
no
gone. You
good.
know what trouble the Sawyers bring.
Yeah.
They're-
Also, it's
So your
exposing
first-
you
it's
and all
first
that.
thought
It's-
isn't like get the fuck out of here. It's I want to
No.
buy your home.
Yes,
Yeah.
because she owns the house. How do I get
He
rid of her?
thinks she's
Hey,
naive.
I'm
She
gonna
thinks she's
I'm
naive,
gonna
yeah.
buy your house. I'm gonna give you lots of money for it, and you can go
He
live your
must-
life.
He must be doing all right as mayor.
You can you can go live
I
your
mean,
life
he was
wherever
probably
else.
going to lowball her. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
he thought
But-
she
You
did
know
it.
he's been
She didn't know
extorting
what it
But
was.
people all
I
over
think
town.
that's the thing is like he did not know that Leatherface was there, which is so stupid and makes no sense. Again, because you would think that he would know that Leatherface is there.
Well, anyways, Bert's kind of in through all this, like
Yeah.
egging on the
and-
the town cop.
And technically, she can't sell the house because the lawyer says when
Yep,
he shows
that's
up, if
right.
you get rid of the house, you don't get any of the benefits that come with it.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
So she can't sell the house.
like
to
that
Bert.
the
Doesn't seem like
writers-
she wants to.
I
Really.
like that the writers went to this extent to be like, well, hold on for a second.
Yeah,
we
this is
need
the-
to hold up this plot
Yeah.
hole
Yeah.
here.
Yep. Yep.
This is the plot
But,
hole.
like,
So
everything
obviously
else
a
is just like, well, I
filler.
don't fucking care.
Yeah.
This is the plot
39
hole.
years? Who gives a shit? Yeah, she's 39
Yeah.
years old.
You can't sell it.
This
That's
is
the
the-
one thing.
This is the plot hole we got to shore up right here. Anything else? Fine. This one, I'll fucking kill you if we keep it in. He's just so adamant about it. I'm serious.
So what point do we get to the carnival? Because that's kind of a
So we're-
twist I didn't, or
She
not a
keeps-
twist, but a
we're
setting
working.
I didn't
We're
see
not
coming.
there. We're not there yet because
Okay,
what?
sorry.
Now this is what. This
We
is
jumped
what.
around. I thought we were.
We're
there,
back in the
right?
van now.
We're back in the infinite barn.
Now we
Infinite barn.
No, we're
okay.
back in the van. We've hit the gate.
the gate.
We've opened the gate.
Okay.
Oh, we're out the gate.
Oh, we go there, and then
But-
we stopped.
But Leatherface has caught up to us
Yes.
Yeah.
because we can't figure out how to start this car because we rammed it into a gate.
Yep.
Can't keep it straight.
This is where he slashes the tire.
Was it the tire?
But he slashed the tire.
He
but,
does
but
slash
the
the
van.
tire.
Why is there
so
blood on the saw?
The van does something confusing,
Because
right?
he's already killed people. The saw.
Doesn't the van come flying out and then all of a sudden it's like basically stops and then it's like going the other way?
Yes,
like,
and
That's like a jackknifey kind of
Well,
thing.
so,
right?
yeah,
they-
like,
I actually kind of
it
love this
stopped
scene.
and
This is
paused.
actually
Yeah,
the
it's a
scene
cool
that
shot.
I really love. Yeah.
It's a cool
It
shot.
drives down the street. It flips over.
Yeah.
We get a close up.
that made me laugh actually.
We get a close up.
Because you don't see it happening. You don't see
No.
it coming.
It just was like it was insult to injury.
How do you not?
It was-
How do you
it
not
was,
see it coming
know.
after he slashes the tire?
Because I didn't see a van like in the distance, the background, like going and doing
Yeah.
a jackknife and then flipping over. I just didn't see
it
that.
was very unexpected
happening.
for
Yeah.
me.
I will
was-
say that like if you watch like
it made me chuckle.
like cops or something, like there's always or like police chases, you always see like a dude like he gets a flat and then they keep trying to drive on it and you realize like how very impossible that is to do. When people try their hardest
Sparks
and the
flying
car
shit.
always like starts keeling off into the side. So I did I mean it was a very aggressive I don't think if you slash your tire your car
Right.
flips over.
but that is,
Well,
that is
I
like an
thought-
old
cool.
shitty
Look,
van.
I was
Yeah.
also kind of confused because I thought this is
Yeah.
maybe where Ryan died. I thought he
It is.
I thought
he does,
I
yeah.
thought he got cut by the saw though because when they
No.
cut to
No.
him, it looks like almost like his face is
No.
cut.
He got decapitated.
He
Which
got
makes no
yep.
sense.
But
He's not
how?
that hard
By the
of a flip.
windshield.
Yeah, I guess.
I
that's
was
how.
thinking it was the
Yeah.
saw that cut
No,
him.
it was the
No,
windshield.
He only gets the bottom half of it.
It was the car that did
Would have
it.
been
so-
cool if he went through the front.
Right.
That's
That
what
would've
you were
been very
saying. That's what
cool.
you were saying earlier. Was there
Actually,
was
that'd
a
be very
scene where
cool.
he was
Yeah, there was
supposed to
there was
die.
actually a way better death for him. That's the one where he was supposed to
shit.
grab
If
the blade
James
and
Wan
the
had
finger
film,
slap.
that's
Oh,
exactly
gotcha.
how that would have happened.
Fuck,
It'd be
man.
like decapitation
It's
of
got
driver.
Streets of Fired.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty much.
We got Streets of Fired, man.
And then this is where we have the scene that I feel like is duplicated from the early 2000 scenes where it's like he's going to rip through the van and chase after the girls with a
Right, right, right.
chainsaw. He gets the friend
Nikki.
Mhm.
in the stomach, but then chases after Heather. And
I
this
thought it was
is,
in the leg.
oh, it's maybe
Uh,
the leg.
Yeah.
Heather is so funny. She's like, "Hold on, I got a plan." Hey, and then she just
Yeah.
runs off.
Just runs off.
I
She
was
goes,
like, that was
hey,
it.
you country fuck, and then runs off.
Yeah.
It's the same.
That was
rule.
it?
If
That
I
was
just
your
scream in
plan?
his direction,
Don't call him a
just gonna
country
scream at
fuck
him.
ever.
So we get Leatherface chasing her to the carnival that's going on. This is the
Really
Random
unexpected.
carnival.
Completely unexpected. This is the most unexpected.
Well,
moment
no,
in the
they-
It
movie.
was. I was
no,
like, oh, carnival.
No,
Okay.
they say it when she's out looking at the wood. The cop asks if they're there for the festival.
Yeah, I understand that, but let me tell you,
Missed it.
the way they prepped us is a lot. The carnival's much bigger than they were making it out to be.
So
It's very
it's the
unexpected.
biggest thing that's happening in this Texas town. Kyle.
Here's-
Gotta be.
here's our chance for possibly the coolest scene in the movie,
Mm.
and we don't have the budget to do it. I feel it's like what happened here.
You mean the only scene of 3D in this movie?
No, what I mean
Nah.
is like you have
Anybody else?
There's
watch?
quite a few. There's
you
quite
have,
a few.
you
Yeah,
have
there's a few
you have
scenes.
Leatherface in a crowd of hundreds of people
Yeah,
with a chainsaw,
and he's going for
And
one
everyone
person.
just
and he
gets
doesn't
away.
he doesn't hit
He
one
doesn't kill
person
that
with it?
saw creature. Isn't that from Saw?
Yes.
The pig with
Yeah,
the.
the pig from Saw.
Yeah.
No, he just faces off with it and runs off, because he's so focused on Heather.
Just her. But I thought it was kind of cool her going up the Ferris wheel thing. I thought that was cool, but then it just
What do you mean? Hold on. Well, stop.
what?
I'll go back and argue myself on him focusing on Heather, right? He's focused on the girl that got away.
Yeah.
Last time a girl got away,
Yeah.
they bring it up in the movie.
Yeah.
His whole
Right,
family
right.
died.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
that
yeah,
makes
yeah.
okay. You wrote yourself
Unnecessary.
out of him killing people at the carnival.
Right.
But Chris, I don't care what fucking frame of mind I am in. I am not thinking the best exit plan for me to get away from a killer is jumping on a fucking Ferris wheel.
I
Yeah,
don't.
it
I
just
actually
goes
don't
back
think
where it
that's
starts.
true.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like getting
It
on a-
goes back to where it
Yeah,
starts.
It's like getting on
It's
a,
very nonsensical, and if you're freaked out, you're probably not going to be thinking that clearly.
getting on a carousel and be like, if I get on this horse,
I-
I'm good.
If anything, I'm just saying for visual, it was kind of a cool thing. Like, it's not a good idea. It's not, but I like the idea that she like grabbed onto it and was taken away.
they-
Can I be honest? The only thought I had during that scene, it wasn't that how ridiculous that she did this. It was like, oh, cool, she's hanging on the Ferris wheel. I always wondered what that'd be like.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
then she got to the top and her feet didn't touch, and I was like, no, I definitely don't want to do that.
It looks
terrible.
scary.
And then it's just like, and then thankfully the cop shows up in Leatherface, then throws his chainsaw
Only 3D scene in this movie.
It's
No,
not the
it's
only
not.
3D. There's a
There's
few
quite a
others.
few.
There's
Like
a
a
weird
flat-
ass.
Quite a few.
There is.
Can I
There
tell you
is.
something though? That motherfucker throws it like it's a ninja star. I
Yeah,
mean,
he does.
He
He's-
chucks it
well, he's
200, 300
practiced.
feet.
No, wait, dude, his power levels that just fluctuate, man.
Right?
Yeah,
That's
he
what I think
does.
I always loved about Leatherface. He's a fucking tank.
Right.
Like, yeah. No, sorry.
And then he runs off into the woods, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. He
They
runs off.
confiscate
Why
the
didn't
chainsaw.
he shoot him?
That's I don't know. Because he threw a
Now you're
chainsaw
get-
after
now
him.
you're getting
he
too
threw
much
he
logic.
threw
I think he
Yeah.
just
he
Took him
he
off his
here-
footing.
here's the thing. It's a funny part of the movie, right? Because he throws the chainsaw at him, and what we're led to believe is that now this guy who has been running slowly after his victims throughout this whole movie now is faster than a fucking pro athlete because he can throw a chainsaw in 10 seconds and fucking book it out of a carnival into the woods.
Yep.
He really is the Barry Allen of the
He
Sawyer
knew
family.
it was checkmate if he didn't.
Yeah. And then we get that weird where I start to believe Adam Marcus and his script because we get the whole like opening a drawer of like chainsaws, which looks like it's in a hardware store.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's just not
Like
explained.
a cabinet, right?
Yeah, it's just not explained where it's at, and he just grabs another
called
chainsaw
the
and goes
tool
off.
shed.
He picks it. He chooses his weapon.
Yeah.
And he's going. And doesn't he pick a tie out as well?
Yeah, and then he
pops his
sews the
tie out.
mask on his face.
Yeah. Which,
That
by the
scene-
way, like
Yeah, I know.
I thought it was kind of effective. Like even though it was a simple trick, like like the sewing through the skin. It
I
looked
never
like.
actually thought that that's how he connected the thing to
I don't
his
I think he was
face.
doing it this time,
He
but
did
I
it
don't
this
think he
time
normally
so that
does. Yeah.
in battle his
Yeah.
mask doesn't come
But
off.
It was just this
yeah,
time.
I definitely thought that like that was probably not the.
he was
the-
basically stapling it to his face.
I just feel like
like
that's not the spot you want to put a mask.
Yeah. Well,
You know,
I
like,
also want to say that mask looks horrible.
It's not great.
Like it is
you.
so
It's not good.
fucking fake, like latexy.
Terrible.
In
looking,
my
like,
notes, it changes which mask, right? Because when
Yeah,
he
it
puts
does, yeah.
the first mask we see, I have in my notes that it looks like I don't know what they put over it, but it's like glistening and it looks like it's covered
Fake
in
wet.
Yeah.
wet shit.
It
fake
looks
wet.
It looks like it's covered
hard
in
and
wet,
fake.
Yeah.
poopy, like wet shit. I'm being serious, like
Yeah.
shit. I mean poop.
Yeah.
But not even like real wet shit, like plastic wet
Jesus
shit.
Yes!
Christ.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's awful. It's awful.
The sewing of the mask, like that mask, whatever that version is, looks the worst.
Now-
I kept calling him Pleatherface.
Leatherface.
Yeah.
Leatherface.
That was really funny.
after
Fucking true.
after he chucks the chainsaw, this is where we get the biggest like I think character mind fucked of like, huh? In the movie
Mm-hmm.
that I'm just still trying to grasp with to this day. And this is where Heather flips
Yes.
from being
in the
a,
cop car.
from being a victim to a no, not in the cop not in
No,
the cop car.
no. When she's reviewing all of the.
From a-
Oh, when she
Yeah,
cuts
it's
the
in-
guy's face.
No.
Oh,
Jesus Christ, bro.
sorry. Go ahead.
No, when she's reviewing all of
She-
the
Gotcha.
file, the
Right.
the
She's learning
file
about
on
her
everything.
When
Yes.
everything.
the
Yeah,
best
okay.
police work again, this man who is supposed to be the head sheriff is just like he's not like, hey, don't leave that evidence in here with her. He's like, nah, fuck it. It'll be good with her.
The big
Yeah.
box marked evidence.
yeah.
Hey, can you keep an eye on that?
Is that real?
Can
Do
I
they mark
also-
it like that?
I also want to talk about just Hooper as a character at this point. Like, this is where he just I mean, it's obvious from the first scene that we see him in that he didn't want the Sawyers to get massacred.
Right.
Yes.
But he's now had 39 years to think about this. And his understanding is just they were ready to give themselves up. They're
Right.
good people. What you guys did
Killed-
was wrong. And honestly, I just think that this girl deserves to have a right to understand.
Right.
And to me, it's just it draws such a clear cut
Line.
line in the sand where Hooper is that I'm just come on, man, you're a police officer. What the fuck are you doing, bro?
Like the Sawyers still
Small
killed in
town.
8 people.
Everyone knows this. In 39 years, we've had enough time. There's enough podcasts that have been out. True crime podcasts have figured this out by now, man. What are you doing?
Right. That this again, and that's the thing is she's reading the newspaper clippings of the Sawyers killing people and eating them and being cannibals, and then she reads the other newspaper of them being killed, and she's like, Fuck, I feel this deep connection to
Yeah.
my family now.
Sawyer.
That's such a 180
It's
for her
such-
character.
Oh, I'm
That
shocked she
makes
didn't say
no
that.
sense.
And she goes from like, this guy killed all my friends, chased me, to now like, I get why he did it.
yeah.
And
I
my
did it.
Yeah.
They were just trying to eat people.
The whole time I was like,
and then the whole town came down
They were
on
just
them.
hungry.
Yeah. And
It made the best chili. What do you want me to tell you?
I get why he killed my friends, and because he's family, I forgive him.
yep.
It's like the weirdest thing out of nowhere. And yeah, don't get me wrong, is the mayor and the cop, are they assholes?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. 110%. Except
But-
for the one cop who's on your side who you could have been stuck with, but you were like, no, I gotta fucking get out of here. You know, like it's so I don't know. It's the weirdest out of nowhere, like, huh?
Like that he would turn that evidence over to her.
But
The way
also,
that she would flip when she
but
flipped
that's the
immediately,
thing.
I was just like, wow.
Like it shows
took
that
nothing to make that happen.
Cooper isn't just aligned with the concept of like, hey, what happened to the Sawyers was wrong. You might even be able to make that argument, like say
Right.
like, hey, look, they did a horrible thing. Policing isn't about like vigilante justice. It's not about
they should have been put on trial.
Yeah, our
whatever
job
it
is not. We're not Judge Dredd. We're not
Right.
like judge, jury, and executioner, right? Like we should have at least given them their day in court, right? You could make that argument, but it goes beyond that. He's had 39 years to think about this, and his thought process is that was such a wrong thing to do that I actually want this girl who has shown up to understand what happened, and I'm actually on her side. If she decides at this point in time that she wants to like do horrible shit, like I'm okay with that.
Right.
Like I just don't understand where Hooper, his mindset as a police officer.
Eye for an eye or whatever, right? Good-
No,
the
he's
good
not.
book
He's
thing?
not.
The opposite of eye for
he's
an
the
eye.
opposite of eye for an eye. And that's what the crazy thing about the ending is with him too.
Yes.
Right.
So,
Kills
Yeah.
me.
so
I guess can we jump to this?
well, no, they
No,
they,
we got a little bit more to
they
go through.
they
right?
leave her
Okay.
with the evidence. She kind of figures out she's a Sawyer. I don't remember because Chris jumped to the point where she's in the car. I don't remember what happens from her.
She
figuring
gets in
out-
the cop
She
car.
gets in the cop car with a young cop.
Yeah,
and
she
she
gets-
thinks that the young cop is
She's
gonna
like, you
help
killed
her
all
out.
my
That's right.
friends. Like,
she escaped.
yeah.
She goes. No, she escaped. She goes. She
Yes.
calls her lawyer and
Yes.
says, "You got to."
calls the lawyer.
She's
That's
like,
hilarious.
from a
to
payphone
me.
in 2012.
Calls
And
lawyer,
says-
meets
Farnsworth here.
meets at the bar.
Says, "Hey, I need to know what the fuck is going on." And what
Mm-hmm.
does he say? I told you to read that fucking letter.
Verna was very clear.
Oh my god.
So he shows up to the bar, and
The
this
bar.
he
Or
has.
is it Jonna B. Reds? Jonna B. Reds?
He kind of gives her the backstory of the family, which somehow dives her deeper into feeling connected to this family
Yeah.
that she has no connection with. That her cousin just killed her whole fucking all of her friends, her boyfriend, who she did not, which we established, who
She
she
doesn't
did not
really-
know
yeah.
was cheating.
Yeah.
So she's not like, oh well, he was a cheater
Yeah,
anyways. Fuck
I was
him.
already.
Yeah.
No, she's not even sad that they're fucking dead at this point.
Yeah.
No.
She is now
She's not.
flipped.
She doesn't care at all.
Yeah.
She is now flipped somehow into a Sawyer because we're going again. We're
They
playing
killed my
into
friends and my
we're-
lawyer.
again. We're
Funny line.
again. We're going into nature versus nurture and who's the real monsters here.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
two conflicting stories that you're trying to tell in the undertone of this script. Doesn't make any sense.
So you're Hartman, huh?
Yeah, so this brings me to one of my fucking favorite lines in this movie is when she gets in the car with the young cop because
Mhm.
Bert shows up to the bar, chases her out the back door, pushes the lawyer out of the way, right? She gets in the young cop's car and she's like, "He beat up my lawyer!"
Yeah.
I'm like, he fucking pushed him out of the way. He didn't beat him up. It wasn't like 6 dudes just beat up your fucking lawyer. No, it was 2 fat dudes, and like one of them didn't even touch him. And yeah, she cuts. What I don't know what that guy's town lackey who shows
Town lackey.
Ollie.
Ollie.
Yeah,
who
Ollie.
shows up out of
What the
nowhere.
fuck you know his name?
Because the guy says it at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shows up out of nowhere, and now he's just part of the team. But he was one of the 12 guys,
Right.
or
Yeah.
one of the guys that
Is
killed
he the one who
Sawyers.
threw the cocktail or no?
I don't know. It's
No,
not.
he didn't
Who
throw
does
the
it? I
Molotov
mean,
cocktail.
it doesn't really matter, does
Okay.
it? Do we have to
No,
get
it
that deep
doesn't.
into Ollie?
I don't know.
Ollie
I feel
has
like we
some
are
real
diving
character
deep,
development.
so
We are diving very deep.
We can back away from Ollie.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Although I like that when he gets cut in the face. That's
Yeah.
cool.
and she runs and she gets in the car with the young cop with the son. I can't remember his fucking name to save the life of me.
I
but
actually don't remember his.
it's probably like fucking Chris or something
Thanks.
stupid, some stupid ass name. like
Some
that.
dumb fucking name like that.
But he gets in the car with this guy, and here we come. Here comes a
Deputy Carl.
Here we come.
Here comes
yeah, it's Carl. It
here
is
comes
Carl.
here comes twist number one. Here comes big twist number one. Right? Oh shit!
Oh,
Deputy
Daddy.
Carl
Yeah.
is Bert's son.
It's a
Dun
real,
dun
uh,
dun.
So what happens to happen here? Oh, Heather has to have flip number 2.
Flip
She's got to turn into a Sawyer times 2 at
Yeah,
this point
definitely.
and try to stab him through the window and get a crazy smile.
And then be like, yeah, I'm part of the family.
Which doesn't
Yeah.
which doesn't come back
Yeah, nope.
ever again
Nope.
Yeah.
because she just turns into the victim again.
Right. Right.
Yeah, because in the next scene she's like, "Help! Please
Yes.
stop! Please stop!" Before that, she's some psycho in the
Because
car
because
with a knife.
of course the bad guy's plan is let's go to fucking Leatherface's turf,
Yeah.
the
Meat
slaughterhouse.
factory.
Yeah. I also don't understand this scene. So like, okay,
It's probably
they-
very poetic.
they bring her there.
Yeah.
Is the
She's a butcher.
Bert's very poetic.
right? But
Yeah.
is the understanding that they're
poetic guy.
tying her up because they're using her as bait to get Leatherface to get to the place?
No, I think they were just tying her up
I
to
think
be
they were.
sadistic.
I think they were tiring up to be sadistic, and they were gonna eventually kill her. I don't think they had and then they were gonna go get Leatherface.
Okay.
Huh.
I
I
was
don't
trying
think-
to figure
I
that
don't-
out.
Yeah, what
'cause
was
I
the
like,
motivation there?
Why?
Because also at this point, like this is
real
peak-
like James Bond
Oh.
moment.
Hey,
She's
it-
also changed her shirt at this
yeah,
point,
she's
right?
changed her
She
shirt at this
has-
point.
What again? Another scene that I think is really funny because like they give her this like button down that goes all the way down,
Pink
Yeah.
boob.
but they're just like we
One
need you to up those buttons all the way up to your chest, up to
Only
your
button, the
sternum.
one
No.
that covers the middle part.
Wait, is that what
There's
you-
a reason for this.
is
though,
that
we'll
what you
get
guys? Wait,
into.
is that what you guys had it on the rated? Did you guys watch the rated version, right?
Rated.
Because when
Is
she's
it-
when
is
I
there an unrated
when-
version?
in the
That-
unrated version,
It opens.
She's strung up, right?
Yeah.
She's strung up like this, and
Yeah.
it's wide. You get the most peak side boob.
Yeah, you get
No,
that.
you get that.
You
You get
that.
that
Okay,
in the
okay.
rated
I didn't know.
version.
I didn't know.
They
You
didn't
get
cut
peak side
that
boob.
out.
No, what-
Only the gore.
I understand why they do this from a a scene point like because when she's tied up, let's explain this. When she's tied up, all the buttons are gone.
In the meat factory.
Yes.
Yes, in the meat factory, all the buttons are unbuttoned, which is also a weird choice because it
Doesn't he
suggests
rip it open? He rips it open,
it
right?
suggests that the cops did it.
Yes.
Yeah. I
Like,
feel like
'cause
he pulls
she
it
wouldn't
open
have
or
done
something.
it.
Oh, you definitely get like the way she's tied up and the way you definitely get like, there's probably gonna be some.
Yeah, what
Hanky
the fuck
panky?
is going on
Yeah.
here?
I thought there was a scene of him ripping her.
Yeah.
From
I
the-
thought
Probably.
someone did do that.
I don't know, probably.
Maybe that was
I-
the unrated version.
Don't know why they would. That's not the goal here, right?
I don't know what the goal is.
But
Yeah, we
I
don't-
understand.
Kill her. The goal
Yeah,
is just to
That's
kill
it.
her.
Why tie her up?
The only thing I can think of is writer
The scene
logic.
makes zero
of,
sense.
We gotta get this shirt open so that when Leatherface shows up, he sees the brand.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yep.
That's
That's
what
the
it
only
is.
thing I can factor.
That's
in.
it.
That's it.
There it is.
Because Leatherface does show up and
fucking just strolls right on in.
strolls right in.
For,
While
for
everybody's
our second 3D scene of the thing.
Yeah.
The over the shoulder chainsaw.
while
Oh,
everybody
there's other ones.
There's others.
while
yeah.
everybody's out front taking a smoke break.
Yeah.
Before they-
chilling.
before they-
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Where they
Deciding
went.
how to do
Yeah.
it. I don't know.
Before they
like, that's
torture
insane,
and
like,
murder this
They already
woman.
knew they hooked fucking leather.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry, I'm
Fucking
jumping
smoke
ahead.
break so
Yeah,
fucking
but
funny.
yeah, you gotta take a smoke break
So
before.
Daryl,
hey,
right? Or what's his name? What's the fucking cops?
Bert,
The young
Bert.
Carl,
Bert and Carl.
Bert and Ollie.
Carl, and Ollie.
Bert, Carl, and Ollie show
Ollie's the
up.
townsfolk.
Yeah.
Ollie is the son.
No.
No, I'm
No, I
sorry.
thought Carl
Ollie
was
is
the
the guy who
son.
gets cut in the face by
Yes.
Heather.
Yeah, that's the
So-
that's who he
townsfolk.
is.
So yeah,
Townsfolk. Yes, I'm sorry.
Heather convinces Leatherface to take off her gag,
Yeah, that's kind of. Yeah, I guess so.
which
yeah.
of course he would do.
Yeah, because he's understanding.
Yeah, because he's understanding. And she says, "It's me, your cousin Heather."
Did he already see the mark?
Yeah.
No.
He
does.
No, he did.
No, she's yelling that
Stop.
as he sees it.
Yeah.
As he sees it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then he sees it and he's whoo! Whoo!
He has a little meltdown.
Yeah.
Like he
Yeah.
doesn't know what to do.
He knows what's going
His
Yeah.
on.
brain has split.
He
And
knows one thing, and that's that S.
It's
That
the
S
family.
means
He
don't
knows the S,
kill.
but
Don't kill.
Saw, S for Saw. Saw means
Saw.
So
You're-
Mhm.
Heather gets cut out and he's kind of like
he
freaking
cuts
out.
him down, cuts her down.
Cuts her down.
Yeah.
And she just fucking books.
Yeah.
She gets out of
Buttons
there.
that shirt though.
Well, you got to.
Well, you gotta, you know, I mean,
Throw one button.
yeah.
You don't want to be indecent.
yeah.
Books it out of
I
there.
feel like they're just getting in the way, trying to run and get his shirt flapping
because
around,
you know who else is showing up at this time? Bert and the other two guys.
Ollie.
They finished their cigarettes.
Yeah, they finish their cigarettes. They tell Carl, you gotta get out of here. Gotta go, Carl. You can't. Not a proper place for a cop. Well, we shouldn't have an extra man for this.
Yeah, we don't need help.
We don't need help. And they go in there, and what do? It takes two. I gotta agree with Adam Marcus on this. It takes two overweight men to beat the shit out of Leatherface, which makes no sense.
Yeah, I was really bummed in this scene. I was like, how could they be like winning
Right.
here?
Taking
It
him?
makes no sense.
Makes no sense.
Killed that character.
I mean, 2-on-1.
He is a fucking tank.
True.
Leatherface
And I
is
read he's the biggest
consistently-
Leatherface, or the tallest at least.
He's
is-
Yeah, I think he was like
consistently
6'5".
like tank status.
Yeah, well, yeah, it is kind of stupid to see him. But, actually, I feel like they were trying
He
to get
is
you to feel
80.
sympathetic
They
for
are
Leatherface here.
trying to
they
get
are,
you to
yeah,
feel
absolutely,
sympathy.
100%.
Because at this point, what they're trying to get across is we have switched now.
Yeah.
Leatherface is no longer
Heather
the
is cool with killing.
we've switched at this point. Leatherface is no longer the villain. He
Mhm.
is the hero.
Right,
He's
right.
the friend.
Yep.
you know?
That is
He
what
saved Heather.
right.
He saved Heather.
Everything's redeemed.
Now
He-
the
it-
real bad guys are
right.
attacking
Sure,
him.
he killed her friends, but he's redeemed himself by cutting her loose
Mhm.
and realizing that they're
It's
family.
okay. He didn't
It's
know they were
okay.
cousins.
Yeah.
It was a mistake.
So at this point, Leatherface is getting his ass kicked.
Mhm.
Heather
They
hears
got
it.
they got a chain around his
Yeah,
neck.
Yep.
again, Heather hears it from. She's already half a mile down the road.
Yep.
She hears it because again, Sawyer's super hearing. This is a power of theirs.
They know
True.
they know when family's in trouble.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
can hear
right.
it.
And they got like a
Did
what,
you
what
notice-
is that? A wood chipper? What's going on?
It's
at
it's.
this-
I think
is
it's
it
like a cow grinder.
It's
or
like a
something.
grinder, dude. It's like a
Bro,
badass
it
meat
looked
grinder.
like a big fucking
Bone
like,
grinder.
paper shredder. Is what it
Fucking
looked
meat
like.
grinder. But did you guys have captions on with this movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she hears them say like, "And after we kill you, we're gonna kill your bitch cousin too," or
Yeah.
whatever. And that's what actually gets her to go like.
It's all
into-
it's all self-preservation.
Yeah.
You're like, well, fuck him. Wait.
That
wait,
was
wait.
the straw.
Wait, you're not gonna stop following me?
Yeah,
All
that's
right,
what
well,
it
I better
was.
do something
We're
about
not gonna
this.
stop.
So she's hey, because I gotta ask this question because again, like there's so much shit that happens in this movie, but also there's so much forgettable shit in this movie. Like what happened to Carl? How did Carl die? I don't even remember.
Carl.
Yeah, the
Is
son.
Carl the son?
Yeah.
Doesn't Leatherface get him?
It's Carl the son.
Oh, yeah. How do they kill him?
I don't remember.
I don't.
Does he get cut? No, that's Jimmy gets cut in half or whatever.
Kenny gets cut in half. That's pretty
Kenny
cool. We
gets
didn't
cut
talk
in
about
half,
that.
yeah.
Kenny gets cut in half.
Well, how does
Yeah.
fucking Carl die?
I don't
Does
remember.
Carl does die,
He
right?
I feel like he's
does he
gotta
get, Does he get
die.
a hook or something, or does
No,
he get
no,
a
there's
fucking?
no way because he doesn't go back into the house. He takes her to the
Oh,
fat
man.
thing.
We've skipped over so many fucking death scenes too. We're gonna
Right.
have to.
I
get
mean,
into
we could
those.
talk about the cop in the Facebook scene or the
Does he
face.
just go
Time
away?
scene. Yeah.
Does he just go away?
I don't know.
Like
'Cause
they're like, we'll take care of this, and he never shows
I
up again.
actually do not recall what happens to Carl.
No, it's-
because he definitely drives her to the slaughter factory, right, or the
and then
slaughterhouse,
he leaves.
and then he goes to have a smoke break with his dad.
And then they tell him to leave.
And then they tell him to leave.
And
They
then
just
that's it.
tell him to go, and is the understanding that he survives this
Yeah.
entire film?
That
Oh,
that
boy.
that also.
Why didn't I think of that?
I'm glad you brought this up. We forgot to bring up. We said how did we because we were talking about Nikki in the van. We forgot to bring up or talk about how Nikki actually dies, and we did not bring
Well,
this
you
up.
know, I tried to bring it up earlier, and
No,
I
you
said I couldn't remember actually what happened.
So this is what happens. The whole scene happens with
Yeah.
the carnival. Then the cop shows up to the house to go check out the van. He then is the mayor, Bert, and the Hooper are in the fucking police station, right? And the cop's like, I'm gonna go. And Hooper, who again is this guy's fucking boss, is like, no, you're not. And the mayor's like, go. And Hooper's like, okay, I guess you're just gonna go.
The mayor.
You're the fucking sheriff. You have the final call on this. You can tell the mayor to fuck off.
We know what Bert's willing to do.
This is the 5th or 6th scene in this movie where I said, man, the perks of being a fucking mayor.
Right? Like
every time he shits on the sheriff, I'm like, do mayors have that power? I kept asking.
I guess so.
I mean, to some degree they do, but not like I think at
Small
a principle. I mean, it's like
he
any
still
job.
has his own willpower. He doesn't have to listen.
He doesn't
to the mayor.
have to go
like,
in.
this cop.
Like police understand protocol and they understand when they need backup. They're not going to go into some fucking dangerous area without backup. If if you're absolute, the guy that you've been working with for years is telling you like, hey, you shouldn't go in there, right?
He's like, fuck it, I'm going in because I got him. I got my dear damn right. I got my desert eagle.
So he goes in.
So he goes in, and I love the part where Bert's like, hey, dude, you can go in, but FaceTime me, bro.
FaceTime.
This is when I went, what year is this?
You gotta live stream this, okay? We gotta live stream this for Twitch.
So yeah, he goes throughout the whole house, and what I will actually say is a great tension building thing because you're sitting there. No, it's a great tension building scene because you're sitting there the whole time going, when's Leatherface gonna pop out and get him?
Yeah, of course.
When's Leatherface gonna pop out and get him? When's Leatherface gonna pop out and get him? Instead of doing Leatherface, they do Nikki out of the fucking, which is a great jump scare. Nikki out of the fucking thing, and he blows her, fucking shoots her right in the head.
Which is an interesting thing because it is kind of a callback to the original film because they open up that happens in the original, the freezer, right?
Yeah.
Except this time he shoots her in the head.
Yeah.
Damn.
So, good shit.
It's a fucked up
an
way
accidental
to die.
kill.
Yeah, it was a cool fucking scene. And then he gets.
You gotta be like if you're Hooper and you're watching the face. I'm like, oh fuck, we're gonna have to explain.
Then the cop gets murdered. Then the cop gets murdered by Leatherface. So we forgot that part. Anyways, now we're jumping back to the slaughterhouse. And
tied up to Dario.
She gets freed.
She's loose.
She comes back, finds a pitchfork, and stabs Ollie with the pitchfork because he has turned on this grinder machine that's sucking Leatherface in as Bert's like beating the shit out of him with the fucking bat or some shit like that.
Yeah. Can I just say real quick?
Yeah.
Did anybody see Halloween Ends?
Yes.
And how Halloween Ends?
Yes, I did.
Did anybody get Halloween's Ends vibes on this
Yeah, you
one?
mean it ends exactly like this movie does?
Exactly.
I mean, in a way, I guess it does, but I mean, this film came out a decade earlier, so
it's
I
true.
guess it's
I'm
the
just
other way
curious
around,
if
right?
that maybe, I don't know. Maybe it's just a common thing to have
It happens,
around in a small town, some kind of grinder for villains.
Yeah. Just in case.
So
it's always running.
It's always a junkyard or a meat factory that can lend a grinder for to get rid of a notorious serial killer.
Our hero Heather has made her way back, killed one of the guys.
Pitchforked, yeah.
And
I said that was easy for her.
Can I? Oh my God! Can I also say? I know we're trying to get to the end of this movie, but one major fucking gripe that I have with this movie,
just one,
with almost right, is how in slow motion a lot of the kills seem. Did anybody notice that? Like, anytime a kill or an action scene happens, it always seems like it's happening like way too slow for like what's actually going on. Like, it almost seems like either the editing was off or like there's even a scene where Heather gets thrown by Leatherface into a table and it does this awkward fade to black.
Yeah.
That then like I guess it's her coming to after that or something like that. There's just really weird moments like that where it feels like the action is like in the stunts are super janky and slowed down.
They call that bad editing. I think there's bad editing throughout this movie.
It's certainly like I feel like also like a product of maybe a certain time because like I think the original, like some of the most powerful scenes about the original 70s Texas Chainsaw Massacre is like how quick people die. Like people just get hammers to head and then it's over.
Yeah.
It's just like boom.
It's like pieces
and
style.
And that's how you think.
Done.
That's how people really die. Like if you ever watch a fight or like a real fight, like
people get knocked out very quickly.
Yeah, it
like
doesn't.
street fights take like 30 seconds.
It's not
It's just, like,
dramatized.
one
Yeah.
hit, boom, the guy's out. It's over.
Right.
Right. It's never like, oh, help me, look at that. Like it never happens that
It's
way.
just good night. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Anyways, I just had to say, like,
No,
I
you're
thought
right.
some of the fucking editing,
I get
like,
it.
really, like, made the kills and the stunts specifically look like really just amateur.
I get
I
why you're
wanna-
bringing it. I get why you're bringing it up because what we're talking about in this part of the movie is him being dragged by a chain. The chain turns out is the length of the barn.
Yeah.
Because
Very long.
Barn
he's,
length,
he's
yeah.
being dragged
Barn
for like
flinching.
for fucking ever.
It's literally like a Bond death.
And,
It
like,
makes
I
no
just thought it
sense.
was the slowest thing ever.
My favorite thing about that too is like, as soon as Bert's attention is taken away to Heather, like it takes Leatherface 2 seconds to get out of the chain. He just I just gotta unwrap it.
Yeah.
Wasn't even tied in a knot. Who knew?
Oh, you just do that.
Couldn't do that before. Like I don't know.
He was getting fucking beat by a fucking
guess-
golf club
I
or whatever
get-
the fuck they had.
I guess, but I don't know. And then we get what this movie is known for. The legendary line,
Yes.
"Do your thing, cuz."
Oh yeah.
Because she's really just finally
She just pitchforked somebody.
accepted,
Yeah. She got her
like
first
the
kill.
full, like,
Yeah.
how do I put this?
She got her first kill.
Sawyerism.
She's in it.
No, but like she's really just accepted that like Leatherface is like a murderer and we're a murderous family,
Yeah.
and like you know what you're good at.
Yep.
I'm
Yeah.
only pitchfork version killing.
Yeah.
You
On
you
pitchfork
do some
level.
really fucking damage.
Can
like,
I-
I don't know what. Let's go into what you want to say because I have to get into Hooper after this. But
Yeah.
go on.
I just wanted to.
You hate this guy.
I
It's
agree
not
with him.
that. It's just like go on.
I gotta ask you guys
Just
this
kidding.
question because this is your guys' first time watch through, all of you. That line is known, and it's so funny because I feel like there's a ton more moments before that, but that line is known as like the line that kills this film.
Mm-hmm.
Like that is the line that is known where people are just like, "I'm done."
It's not for me.
I don't-
That's not for me. If I was out
actually
of this
don't
film
think
by
so.
now, I would have
Yeah.
been out by
Did
now.
it hit you
like-
guys like
No,
that?
it
No,
didn't.
not really.
Did it
Because
hit
I
you and you're like,
didn't.
"Oh,
And-
fuck."
and
I'm
actually
totally
think-
fine at this point.
What?
As
I
far
wish
as
you
I'm
didn't
concerned.
send that meme because I hadn't seen the movie yet, and so seeing that line, I knew that was gonna be like a line for the movie, and
Can I be honest?
and I tried to think to myself like, I don't think I would have thought it was that
I saw it.
strange.
I saw-
like,
I saw it as strange. It did kind of catch me. Like it was one
Right.
of those like it's one of those like
Her
this is so
delivery's bad.
fucking ridiculous.
Yeah,
It was
The
like a
line
scream,
is
like,
bad
bad.
line.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
don't
that
blame
that
her
line
That was
for
a
could have
real,
worked if it
"Oh
was a
my
different
God."
like
Yeah.
delivery possibly, but
my
I don't
only-
know. It didn't. It felt a little like the delivery felt
Do your
wrong.
thing, cuz no, that should not have
No.
been there.
I saw this film before you sent.
This
out
movie
the-
is not like filled with like good dialogue. I don't know.
It's not.
It's
But
not.
"Do your thing, cuz" is like it's on T-shirts, dude. It's,
I know.
It's
I,
pretty
I,
cringe.
I almost question like I don't know if this like if it's as I don't know if I would have been as like oh this is definitely sealing it into cult history. This line.
No, I'm not saying
like-
it's sealing it into cult history. I'm saying when people watch this movie, that was the line that like people were. That's when this
That's
movie.
when they knew it was terrible,
when
or
the-
like
no,
or
when the-
they thought it was terrible.
when this movie came out, that was the line that made them extra hate this movie.
I
Because
don't.
this movie was put up there in
Okay.
up there with like Jason Goes to Hell
So
with a
fans
lot of
were pissed.
yes.
Okay.
I guess for me, like at this point, the film has already established itself that it's gonna be like in this direction.
I
Like
agree.
We already got the motherfucker.
this is a
Welcome to
very
Texas, motherfucker line.
action movie
yeah.
thing, right?
Right.
Like it's like Last Boy Scout where it's like you
Yeah.
gotta fucking have a cool hit line like
Yeah,
after
yeah,
you do a kill,
yeah,
right?
we already saw that.
Yeah, like, and it just like at this point, like when she says it, I wasn't like thrown off by it. I already knew what I was getting into at this point. Like I didn't.
Yeah.
It's
I think it's
cool.
corny. I agree
Yeah,
that
sure,
it's
I'm
corny.
not saying it's good.
Yeah,
It's just like at this point, I'm like, yeah, you didn't have to pile in any extra. I knew what we were getting into. I know where we're at.
So
do your thing, cuz it just didn't sound natural. That's all I'll say.
Yeah,
The
It
fact
didn't
that she
sound
made a
natural.
180 by this point
Right.
Yeah.
is already enough. The fact that she's already killed a guy with a pitchfork, like I don't give
yeah,
a fuck.
that's what I was
Like,
saying.
I don't,
Like
yeah.
she did that, and now she's like, "Do your thing, cuz." Like,
And
it
then we
just
get-
happens
It's
that
corny,
fast.
no doubt.
Well, then we actually get to see him do his thing, which is like actually dissect somebody like you think Leatherface would, which is I actually like this part of the movie. He goes after the Achilles heels first, so the guy can't get away.
Terrible blood effects. Yep.
Like I agree.
So
but
bad.
But it was like, okay, cool.
Still look kind of.
I like the
still look
concept.
kind of fucked up on the version I
Concept was
watched.
pretty cool.
Yeah, but all I saw
agree.
was that like cheap
It
blood
was
splatter.
that one moment where I have to think that Leatherface, after all the slaughterings that he's done, has a really deep, at least one deep understanding, and that is like the human anatomy and what happens when you fuck people up.
Right.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
I thought that was kind of cool.
And then like when Bert's like holding on, trying not to fall into the grinder, and he cuts the hands off. I also popped for that because I liked that.
Yeah.
But the so stupid with the two little hands hanging on.
Little
And
mittens.
then like fall in. It was very
Such a
CGI on that, but it was
corny
Dude,
scene,
yeah,
man.
that whole death for it
I
to
don't
be the
know,
grand finale, it was cheaply done. I hate to say it.
I
It
don't gonna lie,
was.
I fucking love the grinder scene at the end. I thought that was fun.
Even
was.
him going
And it
into the
made me
grinder
go,
looked
like,
like
it just
cheesy
made me-
sci-fi channel shark attack
but it
effects.
still made me go like, ooh, gross.
Okay. This has got me thinking here. I think this is where like there's a disconnect, right? Because you think about movies like Sharknado,
right.
right? Sharknado announces right on minute one, like this is the type of film you're getting into. I think the thing that irritates people about this film and that I understand is that up until like a certain point in this film, like you think it can go one way and then it goes into this really campy and really
Right.
fucking crazy way. Like introducing that shit so late into a film really does kind of like fuck with people's perception about where we're going and what we're supposed to be at. If they had like started this off as corny as fuck, I think that this film might have been maybe more better
Well,
received.
I agree with that. And I
don't
also
know.
like you tried something different, and I guess I have to give you credit for that. Like you tried to make Leatherface a hero by the end of this film. So I guess I give you credit for trying to do something different to get the audience to cheer for Leatherface, but that's a fucking huge task to take on, and it was a huge whiff.
I'm not gonna lie, I do hate that journey that some horror franchises go into, where like the Roy arc of Friday the 13th, or where they try to like, okay, we're doing yet another sequel, so we got to do something that's so insane,
Right.
so crazy. What are we gonna do? We're gonna make it so like this person is like so like a hero now, or like they try to like
Flip it on its
reinvent
head.
the formula so much that it just kind of like just feels like you're trying too hard, man. Like you can do subtle things to try to bring new aspects of even a killer,
Right.
someone like Freddy or whatever. You could do that in the right way, but like I do feel like there's a tendency for people to try to make too much of a splash in a franchise to try to like establish it as
Right.
being like a new beginning. And I feel like this film does that. This feels like I'm getting into a rating, but
It's okay.
No.
go on.
No, you're 100% correct, because the thing that now we're going to get into the part that Mike has been waiting 6 hours to get into as
Yeah,
we've been recording
wrap it
this. The whole time that Leatherface is doing this to Bert, and fucking Heather is stabbing Ollie, and all this stuff is going on, Hooper, the sheriff, the town sheriff, is watching all of
Yeah.
this
He's watching
from
it,
from a balcony view.
and he's
Yeah.
and he's if you didn't think he could double down further into the I
Yeah.
was on Team Sawyer,
His
he's
very
really
agnostic
done it.
view of
Like,
everything.
he literally looks at this scene
Clean it up.
as being as justice has finally been served.
Yeah.
And now I can die,
Yeah.
Right.
Sawyer,
Yeah.
and be safe. Like I just don't understand how a person could have viewed this scenario as being like, this is justice done. It's fine.
Well, he goes from
Non-interference. you know?
he goes from the beginning of the film of like, this isn't right, this isn't the way the law works, I'm a cop
Yes.
here, this is what's justified, to even in the middle of the film when the cop is going into the house, hey, again, I'm a cop, you're not listening to me, this is not how this is done, you're going to get people killed, this is not okay, you are going to be the cause of death here. To where we get to where people are actually being murdered, and he like
Takes a back seat.
is just like, well,
My hands were tied.
I guess I can't stop this
Man,
murder
it's
either.
in
He's
the
like,
Lord's book or whatever
he
he
is the
says.
most
Yeah.
worthless police officer in film history.
I
doesn't
don't
make-
know what his purpose is.
it doesn't make any sense because your point, yes, like up until this point, you're thinking like his problem is like, yeah, he's a by the book cop, right? Like, like there's things you do, and there's like unjust punishment that can be doled out, and this is a clear situation of that happening, right? But like, it's like, look, if somebody like shoplifts, right, and then a police officer like goes like arrests him, it doesn't mean that like if that shoplifter went on and then like took revenge on him and his family and everybody else and just starts murdering people.
Sounds like a great movie.
Police officer should be like, finally, justice has been done. Like, he goes in such the opposite direction. If his sense of justice is like there's a center there, right?
I think he saw opportunity to let the mayor be gone.
Nope.
No way. No way. He is looking at this as there was an injustice done by this mayor, and then I think if we double down it in the opposite direction as far back as we can, that is somehow a justification and this is fine. And that is not. Like, I still think, like, now you have the blood on your hands of, like,
all these
other people. Like, yeah, what the fuck? Ollie, did he deserve a pitchfork to the chest?
Got cut in the face, pitchfork in the chest?
He did try to kill a person that has massacred many people. Like, it's not that far off of justice. Like, I just don't get it.
So...
the morality is very gray.
I got it. I think I got it.
Please elucidate us, please.
And this is too big for this movie. This is just too big for this movie.
Okay, go ahead.
It's the character arc of Hooper. Like, so from out it to the end of it's literally his character giving up. It is.
You mean like the actual Toby Hooper gave up on this entire franchise?
No. God damn. He is a producer of this film.
Dots over here.
Toby is a producer of this film. No.
Meaning what? They got his permission to make it?
It's the nature versus nurture argument, right? Where I would say that it's in the fact of like, hey, no, we just need to do what's right. He's always trying to get to the point of like, we know what's wrong. We know what's wrong, right? And if we cross this line of killing the Sawyers, well, then we're no different than them. We are the Sawyers. So we need to do what's right and do the thing here of police work. And then he keeps with it that for 39 years until the end of this film, where he's just like, well, Bert was a bad guy, so...
Good riddance.
What goes around comes around.
Yeah, I guess nature just takes over, and you can't stop a Sawyer from being a Sawyer, and you can't stop a Bert from being a Bert.
As long as they remember to clean up.
All the bad kills each other.
I honestly think they're trying to say something with the nature versus nurture there of through his character of being so adamant. Yeah, of like hey, listen, if we cross this line, we're no better than the Sawyers. If we go and we kill the Sawyers, we're no better than the Sawyers. To being like, I guess I'm fucking.
But let's assume that Hooper stays sheriff after this for at least another week, right? Like, it's his understanding that like Leatherface isn't gonna massacre some other fucking young kid.
No, he doesn't, because
he has a caretaker now.
Basically, what we establish at the end of this film is that they all get away with it. Because he has a caretaker now.
Clean this shit up.
Yes. He says, clean this shit up. They go back to the house and they just live their lives.
Were they ending
go slowly
the franchise with
through
this
the woods.
film? Is that the understanding? Is that like...
This is it?
I guess.
No, they said, wasn't the plan to make like a bunch of these with these people? Like,
No.
I thought these people
because
were
the
supposed
sequel,
to be making a bunch of these.
the sequel to this is a prequel.
Which
is Leatherface, which is produced by
what
the
a
director.
Weird fucking thing. It's like putting like mom into a retirement home.
Really
like
is.
Just setting them out into a happy
place. Which is another
Well,
weird. Which is again, what about a weird thing for fucking Heather? Because again, she goes through all this traumatic stuff. Her friends being killed by this guy.
Where are they, by the way?
They're dead.
Are they in the basement? Where are they?
Yes, they're in.
They're still in the basement?
Still in the
hacked
fucking
up.
basement, hacked up. And she just says...
She just goes down there to get him a plate of food.
I guess I'm going to take care of you for the fucking rest of your life now?
They have that very dramatic moment in the kitchen together. Like, was
she
so
dabbed the
fucking
blood,
funny. I'm like, what the fuck?
Am I watching?
I'm like, the way it's all, like, fucking blocked out. Like, he goes, he sits down, he ponders in the chair. She goes behind him, walks back, dabs the napkin on him. He grabs her hand.
Yeah.
It's just so fucking the spotlit kitchen, like
It's
so
such a weird
dramatic.
thing. Not only that, it's such a bleak ending for Heather.
Right.
Like,
She
Heather
seemed pretty stoked
Got
about
into
it.
this,
No, she's trapped there.
but like, yeah, she now has this.
She accepted it though. She's not trapped anymore.
Sure.
Yes,
Right.
because yes, she is trapped because if she leaves
Who's
there,
going
then
shopping, bro?
Leatherface is on the loose and he's killing her. She's
But
now
she
responsible
didn't
for this
she
manic.
didn't
Who's
seem
getting the
too
ribs?
bummed about that.
No, she doesn't. She definitely doesn't feel bummed,
bummed
about
No,
that.
she
definitely
I
does.
feel like she's like cool with it. She's
But
like,
again,
yeah,
like,
yeah,
she's so
this-
cool
what a
with it.
weird thing for this character to
be
like,
cool with.
arc with. Like it's just like it
She
goes
ain't
from.
got no one
I
else.
mean, no,
I
that-
want to know about my family.
She
I
gets
love
she,
my
Family's
boyfriend.
dead.
She gets weird the
Everybody's
minute
dead.
the
Her
minute
job's
she pitchforks
over.
somebody. She gets fucking weird. And
Chris,
you start questioning it.
The only reason she doesn't have anybody else is because Leatherface has killed all her fucking friends.
Yeah, like,
So
it
why
just
is she
doesn't-
going to want to take care of this guy?
Because they're family.
She's
Because
all-
he just saved her at
he's
the
all
end?
she's got.
yeah.
He should have
He's all
fucking.
she's got in this
she,
world.
She has horrible trauma
He
with her,
shoulda
with
tell-
her
No,
adopted
she'll never
family.
find
She's
another
looking
man.
He should have took
Her
her.
parents suck.
For, looking for
She
family.
should have
They
fucking.
But
get
she's
killed.
so young. She's 39.
She listen.
She's got her whole
Listen.
life ahead of her.
Heather should have taken Leatherface to the barn, let him pet the fucking rabbits, George, and taken him out. That would have made more sense, and that would have been a more definitive ending. Because, like, yeah, let me get him. He still killed all your friends. It's not should be like I should just accept this guy. It should be like I'm gonna pretend I accept him, and then I'm gonna fucking kill him. Because he murdered again, she doesn't know her boyfriend cheated.
This could have went
No
into,
sadness
yeah.
over
Yeah,
this.
no, like distraught over the one person who loved you, and your parents
Nothing.
didn't even love
No,
you.
why?
This could have been an
She's
old
a
Yeller
Sawyer.
situation. They chose not to do that. No, but like that's the whole thing. Like it's just such a weird. I think
it
the
is
reason why
weird.
people dislike this film so much is because like it just the motivations in this don't really make
Yeah.
a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And like I get it, Saw's family, but like this kicks it a little bit too far. She wasn't even picking up the saw at any point in time.
No.
Like, I don't
Wait,
get
so
it.
how does it end? I know the very end after the credits end, but how does the end of this movie? I can't remember
it's like
how
she's
it caps
feeding
off.
her dog, feeding
Yeah, she just
Leatherface
goes and
dog
gets
food. I
the
don't know what
fucking
the fuck
tray,
he was
right?
doing.
She
Yeah.
gets the
She
tray,
goes and gets the
and
tray.
that's it,
Pretty
right?
much like
And he
accepts
closes the
her-
door, and it's
yeah.
over.
She's
Yep.
basically, as I
finish it.
understand it, she has accepted the fact that she is going to be a caretaker for the rest of her life
Yeah,
yeah.
and take care of this person.
And she seems
8-year-old
fine with
And,
it.
maniacal
and-
killer.
And also, I don't understand. Is it based on what Hooper said? That like, okay, your job now is to be the caretaker of
No, no,
Leatherface.
it's,
Farnsworth.
it's based on the letter because
Yeah.
this is the
Yes.
scene when she
Verna,
finally
Verna.
reads the fucking letter, and this is when
yeah.
she like
Sally's
accepts
plate. This
her,
is Sally from the
accepts her
original.
place and accepts her,
Yeah.
her as part of the family and what she was left.
But like, what benefit does she get out of this?
A protector.
She has
She
nothing.
gets a no.
but
That's
they-
what it
she
says in
has
the
From
letter.
who?
nothing-
They're all dead
Hold on,
now.
hold on,
Yeah.
no, hold on. I feel like they established early on she really didn't have much going on in the way other than her immediate friend group. Like, I don't know, like this is like her thing. She doesn't have friends anymore.
This is
She's-
her new thing.
Yeah.
What a career choice, I guess.
It's not a career choice.
From
it's a
butcher
family.
to caretaker.
Like, I just
Look,
feel.
I'm not saying I agree. I think it's okay the
No, you
turn she
love
makes.
it.
I think it's insane. I think it makes no goddamn sense. But within the frame of the movie, they're really trying to just, I feel like, set her up to be like a new villain as part of the
Mm.
family going
I agree
forward.
with that.
Yeah,
I do, but
she's
like,
the new Verna.
yeah, it just seems like this is such a finality
Stuff like
to
that.
the series
I agree.
that they tried to establish. Because unless she's just like,
Oh, this felt like
Well,
in the
there's
beginning they're
still-
setting it up. They could do a sequel. if they
What's
wanted to.
the end credit scene? They do an end
Did you
credit scene.
stay tuned for
oh
the
shit,
end of
I
the
did
credits?
not.
They did.
There was an end credit
Her
scene.
parents show up to the house and they're like, the mom's like, okay, now make sure you say you love her a lot. And the dad's like, huh, with this kind of money, I think I do love her. And then fucking Leatherface comes out wielding a chainsaw.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to black.
Okay, that's just fucking stupid.
Yeah.
That's it.
Was that
Well,
part in
I-
3D?
They wanted to button up and make sure those, very
Well, he's-
unlikable
no.
characters were killed.
He has to get the last two.
That is
They're
true.
on his
I
list.
get it. They're on,
They're on his
his
list.
True.
list.
Good point.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
she does not heed Hooper's warning of like
Nope.
take care of this.
Well, I mean, he says clean this shit up. I mean, if they're gonna clean it up, you gotta take out the last two, I
Take out
guess.
the trash.
I get those people are fucking done. Like, what
You
does
know?
it matter at this point? I don't know. It's a weird.
All right,
anyways,
let's get into this. Let's take a break. And when we get back, we're gonna talk more about Texas Chainsaw 3D because we still haven't even gotten into the brilliance of the technical aspect of this film. When we come right back, and we're back talking about Texas Chainsaw 3D still.
I think you want to get into technical,
into the technical. Chris has brought this up, I think, multiple times as probably the best part, shining star of this film, as he's put it, which is the CGI. He loves it. He wants more of it.
Game changing.
I think it really upped the production value of this film.
It elevated it.
as it
the
always
horror
does.
movie elements. It elevated it. I feel like
This was when I don't know what fucking producer it was during this time of filmmaking. There was quite a few films that did this where they're like, you know what's cheaper?
Yeah.
What's cheaper than practical? CGI, blood.
Dude,
fucking do it up.
Can I just say, like, as somebody who's like dabbled in learning CG and stuff, to set out to try to imitate something wet convincingly.
Yeah.
It's such a tall order.
It is. It
you know,
is.
it's like it would be better if you just
They feel like
destroyed
if you,
this hallway and I paid someone to clean it.
It's like if you muddy up the image enough and make it dark enough, they won't be able to tell.
Terrible.
It's like, no, you
Terrible.
could definitely tell. But yeah, no, that is the shining star of the movie. I'm glad you brought that up. It really
Gives it a
enhanced the
sci-fi
movie.
pictures vibe.
I wanted to bring up as far as technical, like we keep calling this Texas Chainsaw 3D. We didn't watch it in 3D.
No.
It's just called Texas Chainsaw as far as I can see.
How do you watch this in 3D? Can we still do it
So,
to this
You-
day?
yeah,
Is there a
Ri-
way to
Ryan. Okay,
pull it
brother
off?
Ryan owns
God.
a like ultra edition version or some shit that
Okay.
is 3D. He had to import from France.
Has
Oh,
glasses,
wow.
or he has glasses.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
so-
has a 3D TV.
So you
It's
get
not-
a 3D
cool.
TV, you got to get the glasses.
And
Yeah.
the Blu-ray 3D
and
Blu-ray
the
player.
3D.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow, that's
Okay.
a lot.
Well, that's what I said. I texted him. I said, "That's a hell of a
For
commitment for a
this.
film that probably doesn't deserve
Yeah.
it."
Can I tell you something? I think about like Friday the 13th 3D.
Yeah.
I often think like what that must. I saw that
Part 3 3D.
Yeah.
the 3D one.
Yeah, that was
I-
like the red and blue. That was like the
That was
classic,
the first.
yeah.
That was actually the first 3D film I think I might have probably ever saw, if I'm not counting like a Captain EO or some shit, like right,
Mhm.
like. But I remember seeing that in theaters and thinking like when I watched it again, like, yeah, man, am I ever gonna get like an experience? Like how do I recreate that? There has to be a way to retroactively create that experience, right? Like there has to be a way to like get it on the right TV or get it
I
on
think
the right.
our brother Ryan's figured it out.
Yeah.
Sounds like
You gotta,
he's-
go, you gotta go France.
he's got the 3 keys, you know.
Okay, all right.
the
Alright.
3 keys.
The 3 keys. I
Three
think
seashells.
The 3 keys
It's-
of 3D.
But well,
Again,
the 3D shots, like I thought they were pretty obvious in this
Oh,
movie.
very-
They,
it's
they,
very
always, they
obvious.
always are.
Yeah.
Like I feel like when you watch like Avatar or something, you're like you can't see them.
yeah,
but
every time their
nowadays,
hand
like
just gets like right against the camera.
Yeah.
it's like,
oh.
Yeah.
give me that
The
piece
so-
of candy.
But
the
also-
saw going into the coffin was obviously a thing.
Very much
Yeah.
so. There was like
Yeah.
the saw over the shoulder. There was
the fucking
obviously the throw
Olympian
of the saw.
throw.
Oh, the throwing, yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
I mean,
yeah.
it's definitely again product of its time. This was a thing that they were trying. The film industry was trying to bring back at the time with 3D. There was a lot of movies that were doing the 3D
They're
thing.
still trying to. and
Yeah,
It's not working.
yeah, it's not.
I mean,
It's-
it's,
there's
I
so
mean,
many-
it's a weird thing.
No, I would say 3D is like for the most part died.
Right.
Like, that people aren't. I think that technology, that fad, is going to end in the next year.
It
or
is,
two.
but this was. I don't know if this was peak or even at the tail end of it. That fad when this came out.
This
Well,
is peak.
It was peak
Was it peak?
2012.
13.
I feel like they've revived 3D so
Peak-
many times
Peak
that
for me was like
Peak
the
home viewing 3D. Yeah.
like the Tim Burton what is it, Alice in Wonderland movie. I remember seeing that and thinking like 3D is pretty good in this.
yeah, but like
But
I
like,
feel
and
like
I remember it being Avatar.
I feel like
guess
I
is the
remember
one that I
sometime
should
in the
be
last
saying.
5 years, like Ryan telling me that there's a handful of studios or brands that have ceased all 3D releases going forward. or
Well, you
some
have to-
shit.
it's a lot.
So-
I
probably,
get it
for
too,
what it is.
especially nowadays. You have
It just
to
doesn't do anything
well,
for
not
me.
only that, but you have to charge more money. I remember that,
Right.
like those
course.
films, and it's hard enough to get people into theaters nowadays.
So
Mhm, good
this
point.
I feel like the release of this film is like it falls into like all the things, right? So hey, we got to have a gimmick, let's do 3D. They do that, which is a product of its time as well. Also a product of its time when this movie releases on DVD the unrated version,
Unrated.
where it's like, I remember when every movie came out, it was
Every movie.
unrated.
Uncut,
And it's like,
unrated.
with 2 extra seconds not seen in theater.
It's fucking
You could
nuts.
never
I
fucking
was-
tell the difference between
No.
the theatrical release or the unrated.
No, you
I
never
looked
know.
into this too. It's not much. There's
Yeah.
a few scenes
There's
here
a
and there,
extra
but
guts somewhere.
it's
That's
not really,
stupid.
Well,
like-
it's the right. If they just change a few scenes and they don't submit it for rating, then they can just say it's unrated, right? Like,
Yeah,
I think it-
unrated
I-
implies that it's like shocking or gory or
Right.
something, but
I think it has become a marketing.
It was
ploy at
a
this
marketing ploy
point.
in
Yeah.
2012. It was a marketing ploy on every fucking film that
every
came
movie was unrated. That became a thing where it was like, I'll just wait for the unrated version to come out because it
Yeah.
usually came out a little bit
it's
after.
the full cut.
Yeah.
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 That being said, I want to talk about some. Like, we're shitting on this movie a lot.
Are
Have we?
Have we not? I feel like it's been fairly negative.
out. Yeah.
Maybe.
Okay. I do want to talk about some technical aspects that I did like about the film. I
This
thought
is the
the
technical
saw
section.
of Kenny was pretty good.
Oh, cutting Kenny in half.
Yeah.
Kenny having
That was
like
brutal.
That was
I
really
That
good.
didn't look too CG.
It didn't look too
No,
cheesy.
that was pretty practical.
I did really think that the shot of Nikki getting shot in the head
Pretty cool.
really
Cool,
was
yeah.
super cool. There are aspects of this film like I don't think the kills were like entirely terrible.
There wasn't
No.
very many, honestly.
There wasn't enough.
There weren't a
Yeah.
lot, but
Yeah.
the ones that they did were not bad. I don't think that I wouldn't put this film as like, oh my god, it's like super
gory.
it's not super gory, but the gore that they did show was not so bad that I felt like, oh my god, it's a fucking absolute sin against the entire franchise.
Ooh, Chris would disagree.
It's very quick. They don't really like, it's underwhelming, I would say,
Mhm.
for
I mean, they're
a Texas
underwhelming,
Chainsaw
but like not
massacre.
not underwhelming to the
I'm sorry,
extent
it's
where I
not a
felt like
massacre.
this was a PG-13 movie.
There's
Yeah, agreed.
I like
There is no massacre in
There
the
is no
title.
massacre.
So
You're correct.
just some history. Like I watched this and I immediately watched the original
Okay.
because I just wanted to see the connection
Right.
and I wanted to see where they went with it.
Didn't matter, did it?
Don't get me wrong. Like the original was so better in every facet. Again, the kills being quick and fast and how I think
Loud,
kills
brutal,
actually
yeah.
happen. It gave me more respect for the original. I will say that.
Oh, definitely. Here's
But I didn't hate it. In terms of the other shit that came out around this time, I wouldn't put this in like.
Is this your rating?
No, it's not.
He's going for
I'm
it.
rating
Yes,
it
he
Yeah.
fucking
in
is.
films that came out in 2013 or even like that weird like
13 was a weird year.
Dark
Weird
period.
year.
no
Weird
like
year.
there was
unlucky one we
there
might say.
there is an early aughts feel to certain horror films
Yeah.
that exist
There
where
is.
it's a lot of cheese, a lot of like gratuitous like CG, like bad CG. I don't think this would rate in my top 10 as bad in terms of if I took the entire.
So how many stars?
Live
is
rat.
that?
Oh, I think you're
How many
right. We gotta look
chainsaws
up
do
a
you
horror
rate?
movies that came out in
I'm
2013.
not rating this film. I am rating this film in comparison to other films that came out
That have bad graphics.
that came out in the early aughts.
What a
which-
broad list.
Which I will say is bad because this film comes out in 2012. It doesn't come out in like 2006 or 2008.
yeah.
Like, I don't think I would put this in like
20,
the worst
2012.
fucking remakes that I've ever seen.
Okay, let's just take a look at some of the horror movies that came out in
Evil
2013.
Dead remake?
We have the Evil Dead remake. We have The
Wow.
Purge. We have Oculus. All three bangers
Those are
right
all
there.
bangers.
Green
Absolute
Inferno.
bangers.
Green Inferno, Under the Skin, Dark Skies, Mama. These are all.
What?
These are actually really great fucking
These
horror
are,
movies.
a lot of these are better
Can I
than
say
This
Mom-
movie
All
seems
Hallows
a little
Eve?
lazy compared to a lot
All
of those.
Hallows Eve, which is I think Terrifier's first movie.
Oh, it's where he shows up first.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me see. Texas Chainsaw, Willow Creek, which is Bobcat Goldthwait's
yeah.
Bigfoot movie.
Okay, I
Um,
didn't like that one.
World War Z came out. Haunting Connecticut
World War Z
2,
is
A Haunted
good.
House, The
Mm.
Conjuring, another
Oh,
terrible
man.
film.
Huge.
Yeah,
Ooh,
absolutely.
terrible.
Yeah,
Well-
terrible,
well
terrible
known
film.
as being
You
terrible.
know, it wouldn't even. It's not in Mike's top 10.
Now I know where James won.
I was like, that was damn good.
Yeah. Insidious Chapter 2, another Prisoners, Scary Movie
So
4,
James
Warm
Wan
Bodies.
was dominating
Yeah.
Yeah.
like the film industry.
I guess this film gives me, you know what? Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, like I guess it does give me vibes of like this is more like a ghost ship situation. You know what I mean? Like it belonged in that era.
I agree with say that.
That's
Okay, they'd
early
say like
2000s.
2003.
Yeah.
You're right,
Yeah.
because now that you're telling
know
me
what? Yeah,
all
because-
the films that came out in this era, I'm thinking like, wait a second, like you guys are like 5 years
Did you
behind.
say Ghost Ship?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
What was that? The not dark.
Dark
not-
Skies?
Dark, yeah,
No,
Dark
what was
Sky.
Dark Castle.
Dark
Dark
Castle.
Castle, thank
yeah.
you.
Yes.
Castle.
All those Dark Castle films, I actually
Oh,
don't
House
have a
on
problem
Haunted
with
Hill.
I love 'em.
Really good.
Love 'em.
I like that movie.
I love those
The
movies.
Haunting, whatever.
13
like,
Ghosts? Love
they're
it.
all really bad. but,
Love
like,
it.
I love it.
13 Ghosts.
I love that
I
movie.
love House on Haunted Hill.
well
Haunted
well
Hill's great.
known for having bad CG, bad
Yeah.
CG kills.
Oh, I don't know about that.
I
I'd have
don't
to
think
rewatch
I
it.
would put this film to them as being like in the bottom half of that.
So you're going with the films. You're saying this film is on. If I'm understanding correctly, I just want to make sure I understand it
like
correctly.
I'm giving someone credit. Like if this
I would-
film came out
7 years
before-
earlier, it'd be an okay film.
We're doing Texas Chainsaw 3D math here.
Is that what
You're
you're
right.
saying?
I am, unfortunately, and it doesn't belong there. You're absolutely
39
right.
years.
I didn't realize that all these great films came out at that time.
Oh my God,
I
that's-
disagree. I think it's bearable.
Now, if this movie had only come out 10 years, 10 years earlier,
Would have
banger.
been
Fantastic.
top of its game.
Okay,
I thought the lighting had some decent elements.
stop. Because
fucking technical. Keep
No.
going.
Sick sound.
I'm still.
You need
No.
to give your fucking.
Soundtrack. Very mediocre, but very.
Yeah.
That's what I was
there
just about
even
to know.
music in this movie?
I was about to say, there's
I don't
no.
even
The soundtrack is so fucking forgettable.
There's no
They had
soundtrack.
Trey songs. Did any Trey songs show up?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't
it
think
was when
so.
he's like boxing, I guess. They were playing one in the background
Oh.
very
Did they?
quietly.
Okay.
Yeah, and then there's that, what's that song? Jesus will fuck you up? Or what's
Oh,
that
yeah.
song?
Yeah.
Like, that one kind of sticks out, but
That's
Nope,
about it.
Not
yeah,
at all.
that's it.
And I
pretty
forgot
much.
about it until you brought it up. So no, it didn't really stick.
Didn't remember that.
No.
But no, the lighting, there were some good shots. Like the lighting was pretty fucking
So-
on point. But
So we didn't
Okay.
like.
The
We
end.
we think that we think the cinematography's okay. The music was terrible. We talked about this. We talked about it, but I don't think we talked about it.
I don't think the cinematography's okay.
I think.
I think it's just
I
fucking
think it's
forgettable.
phoned in and
Yeah.
and it's relying on the
It
original.
So is.
okay.
It
So
so is.
yeah, I
But-
don't
And
agree
then
with
something
that.
that was brought up that I don't think we
Functional.
fully expunged on. Is that the word I'm looking
Yeah,
for?
sure.
Expanded
I
on,
don't know.
which is the costume design. We
Mhm.
talked about how shitty the mask was, but we did not talk about Heather's costume that she wears for weeks on end.
Her shirt.
What?
We talked about her shirt changing and stuff. Yeah, we did.
It changed once.
it
Weeks on
changes.
end.
It changes one time.
Yeah, I understand.
Again, yeah, I don't understand.
I don't even know what the period of time is really.
That's what I'm saying.
Like of this
yeah.
is like a night. What is this?
It's
This is one
basically.
night.
It seems like it's one night.
yeah.
yeah. So
Well, no,
if
it's.
she didn't change. That's fine.
Isn't-
No, that's not true. They're in. She's wearing this. I think she's wearing the same sweater
I think it's
when
one
she
night,
gets
one day.
into
The
the
van?
van, gets all the way to the gas station. There's a night that happens there. It's daytime by the time they get
Yeah,
back
that's
to
2
the
days.
place.
True.
She doesn't change. The only time she changes is when she gets arrested. I think
At the
some
cop
point in time.
station,
Yeah.
right?
And then they put her in
Don't they bring her a shirt or something?
a shirt, and she's just like not sexy enough. Button up the first.
Yeah.
So-
let the
7
never mind.
but-
But even the costume design is very forgettable. Like the Sawyers don't really have anything that make them stand out in the beginning of the film,
Yeah.
right? Like to be like,
Your
oh,
classic
beards.
farm affair.
they look like normal fucking people.
Pretty much.
Mm.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
Bill
look like
Mosley's-
crazy psycho.
the cops all.
incredibly clean.
Like I said, the cop uniform is lazy. It's like
The
a
cop-
fucking.
I said rent a cop
Singular.
uniform.
It's like a
Yeah.
fucking.
Like a mall
they're
cop
wearing
security.
jeans.
Looks like
Yeah.
a mall cop.
They're wearing jeans. It's a casual Friday.
Yeah, it is.
So even the costuming's pretty
Yeah.
fucking
Fucking
atrocious.
even Leatherface's costuming I didn't love, to be
I
honest with
didn't.
you.
So when he gets in final form, when he hits his strongest, when he's in his when his power source goes over
Yeah,
5,000,
when he's Super Saiyan 2,
Yeah.
like when he's gone into.
and he's put on the final mask, which is the better looking mask, and he puts on like the somewhat throwback original outfit, which is like but it's like a maroon shirt with the
With
tie.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I like that look.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah.
I
was a
like
big
that
fan.
look.
That was fun.
I'll give him that one.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
but that's that's it.
I'm
the
really
pants were a little
excited. Can
high
I
for
be-
me.
can-
I don't know why. I just
Yeah,
Can
some
I,
high
just, can I
waters.
just be honest? I am like so excited to hear our final reviews.
Well, good because we're gonna get
This-
into them.
This conversation has gone so far in so many different places.
We're gonna get into our final reviews right now, Kyle. I'm glad
Cody,
you
what
said
do you,
that.
What do you want to rate
Yeah,
it?
what do you want to
man?
rate this, man?
I
the
mean,
Jammer?
I.
Question. What did we rate the last
So,
Texas Chainsaw
this-
Massacre that we did?
I would like to rate this. This is we're gonna rate this Chris's and
Cousins.
we're gonna rate it Chris's and Kyle's. This is cousins. We're rating it cousins. How many
Cousins.
cousins? How many cousins? How many cousins?
Put our heads together,
Cryle.
Yeah.
smiling.
Cryal. How many cryals? When they
Ah,
form
we'll do
together
cousins.
society style.
All right, how many cousins?
How many cousins are we gonna give
All right.
this film?
Okay.
Let's start with who wants to start? Does anyone want to volunteer to start? No. Wow. Okay.
I'll do it.
Ooh,
I'll
here
do it.
goes.
There we go.
I'll go. I'm
Set
ready.
the bar.
Yeah.
I'm ready. Okay. I'm gonna give this 2.5 cousins,
Whoa.
which might be a little high, but honestly, like, okay. I guess maybe going back to it a little bit, like, I kind of feel like horror franchises are known to have bad sequels that are just like don't fit, like Leprechaun franchise, like things like that, like maybe even Friday the 13th. But like, I don't think this is like, it's bad. It's pretty bad, but it's not like, it wasn't unwatchable to me.
No.
It wasn't like one of those things where I was like, oh my God, they got everything wrong. Or, oh my God, like this is so fucking corny. I guess maybe because the corniness doesn't really come into play until like the last 3/4 of the film. There's some weird shit, don't get me wrong, we've talked about it, but like, not like anything that like isn't like just like beyond major plot holes. Like it isn't until the cuz line comes in where you get like, oh my God, now this is getting corny and stupid. Which might have actually benefited the film in retrospect, but like honestly, like I just don't think it's it's not an unwatchable film to me. It's not a super terrible like sequel to a franchise. Yeah, it just doesn't. It's not that bad, and I think it's like very middling. It's very middle of the road. So 2.5, I feel feels like a pretty strong, maybe even generous rating by my part. But like, I'm sticking to it.
Cult film, yes or no?
Cult film. I understand why people might look back on this film and say that it has some lingering reminiscence in their watches of that franchise. I get it.
Okay, so yes or no?
Yeah, no, I do.
Yeah, no.
No, but can I tell you something? It is definitely a cult film based on the fact that you told me that like they have T-shirts of do your thing, cuz. Like I think that by that alone, it's look, cult films are not good or bad; they're just memorable. And then you're gonna tell me that if that's the definition, then I think we're doing a pretty good job here.
Chris?
I watched this twice.
Ooh, lucky you.
Because the first time I watched it, I woke up the next day and I said, why can't I remember really very much that happened in this movie? Like, and it was just really hard for me to recall, like, who was what, and what happened, and why, and all of those things. So I went back and watched it a second time, and I'm glad I did because I picked up a lot more. And as I found out, came away with a little bit more of an appreciation for it. It suffers from really what I would say like lazy filmmaking in a lot of respects. I read that it was shot in 28 days, and I feel like that really shows. It seems like a lot of things were rushed, and I think that's probably why there was so many like holes in the plot, and just so many disconnected moments and characters. And but with that being said, like I did find a lot of redeeming things about it. Like I didn't hate Heather's character, as a leading character. Like I actually thought she did pretty good given the movie wasn't amazing. I was a little, I don't know. I feel like I was pulled back and forth. Like one scene I'd be like, okay, this is kind of cool and fun what's happening here. And then the next scene I'd be like, oh my God, fucking cringe, and I don't know what you said, Mike. I totally agree. It's so middle. Like I even on the second watch, I couldn't come away feeling super excited about it, but I also didn't come away going, "Oh, that's trash," or "That's the worst one in the series." I bet you it's not the worst one in the series. Like,
it's not.
Yeah, and I haven't seen all of them, so I'm just gonna guess that because I actually did. I was able to watch it twice and still find enjoyment and pleasure out of it. I have my gripes with it, like, but I'm gonna come in at actually higher than I thought. I am gonna do a 2.5 cousins.
Cool.
I actually I have a slate at home. I marked it as a 2 when I was done watching it the second time, but I did have so much fun talking about it that I wanted to bump it up a little bit more. I don't think it's a cult film. I think it's got one or two funny things that maybe happen in it, but honestly, like I don't know. I guess I'm not in that cult personally. But I you know, I anything bizarre, out of place, like could be chopped out and glorified and be like, this is what makes this movie great. But I'm like, I don't think there's enough moments in this movie like that to make this a true, like memorable film in that regard.
Kyle, wait, Kyle, are you already answered the question of cult film or not? That's why I said wait. Kyle,
wow. I don't know. Okay.
I don't know.
Here's the thing. Here's what I'm gonna say is that like I assumed the majority of this conversation was gonna be like us really digging into all and shitting on all the obvious mistakes in writing and everything, but at the end of the day, I actually had a really good time watching this movie. Like I thought it was fun, like, and which is kind of cool because I don't feel like there's been a lot of slasher movies that I've watched recent or in a while that I was like, yeah, this is pretty fun. Like this made me go cringe or whatever in some parts, and I thought it was gory when it needed to be, but like it's one of those movies that I actually think it could be so bad it's good. Like status. I think that on repeat watches there's more ridiculous bullshit in the background that you're probably not noticing. Like I kind of want to jump back into it and watch it again. Because I do think it has the potential. I definitely think it does. Like it's the story is just so ludicrous.
Right.
Like it has all the potential. So I'm actually when the credits started to roll, Sammy said that's a 3.5 for me. And that's what I'm going with. 3.5 cuz.
That is
wow.
Pretty shocked by
impressive.
that.
Holy crap.
Impressive.
Cool.
It's fun.
I did not see that
Well,
coming.
It's fun.
Wow.
Wow.
Greatest
Holy shit.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre ever made.
According to Kyle.
Yeah.
No, I think I rated 2 better.
Okay.
So I think I don't think anybody here is like, again, I don't think anybody's right or wrong when it comes into what your taste in movies are, but I don't think anybody's right or wrong in if it's a cult film or not. I also don't think anybody's right or wrong if they like this film. I think there is 2 ways that you can go, because let's just say you are a hardcore Texas Chainsaw Massacre fan. You can understand why they absolutely hate this film. Because you got to have some fucking balls on you to go, I'm going to do a direct sequel. How many years later? Like in 2012. And I'm going to do a direct sequel to that movie. And you got to have some balls to do that. And so the fan base is going to expect, if you're doing a direct sequel to a movie that I absolutely love that is held in such high regard, that this movie better be on fucking par with it. And this movie is nowhere near that par. It's not even on the same fucking golf course. You know what I mean? Like, you can't afford to get into the country club. So I can understand why some people are like, dude, fuck this film. Like, Leatherface is a brooding, terrible guy. I don't want to laugh at the movie when I watch it. It hurts me because I love this character so much. So I see that side of it. And I also see the side of it, like some of you guys are saying in here, like, it's like, is it terrible? Yeah, but is it fun? Somewhat, yeah. Like, I have fun. There's fun moments. It's fun to poke fun of. It's fun to do this. So it kind of makes it a little more the watching experience enjoyable. I fall in the middle of that. Like, I have fun with it when I can talk to you guys about it. But as someone who's a fan of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I'm also just like, how fucking insulting is it for you to fucking give me a direct sequel where the main character is 22 years old, but this is happening 9 years later?
Yeah, that's a weird.
Like, that's insulting. Like,
these are all things that are just on the journey of this film,
right?
You know?
Like, if you're a true Texas Chainsaw Massacre fan, like, and you fucking love those movies, you're gonna be insulted probably by some of the shit this film tries to pull off. Hey, let me go get some fucking heavy hitters from the original films, and let me go put them in the fucking beginning where they die in 2 seconds. Again, if you're a fan of this film, that's gonna piss you off. Because you're like, you couldn't have done something better with fucking Bill Moseley? Fucking Chop Top? You couldn't have done something better? Like, you had him.
Yeah.
So I get the frustration, and I also get the joy of it because dude, I laughed at Do Your Thing, cuz I fucking laughed. It's goofy.
That has become like a new catchphrase in the house.
Right.
With me and my wife. Do your thing, cuz.
It's just
fucking hilarious.
It's such a goofy thing. Like it's hard not to laugh at it. So with everybody's ratings where they're at and how I'm going to adjust myself on this, I get where everybody's coming from. That I personally don't feel like this is a cult film. I think if you're going to choose cult films out of this franchise, there's definitely weirder ones that you can fucking choose too.
Yeah.
But again, this isn't the worst one. There's worse ones than this. And I think the prequel that is in this timeline is worse than this.
I look forward to rating them all.
Yeah, and eventually we will. So since you guys are all there, I was thinking between a 1.5 and a 2. I think I'm gonna go with the 2 since Kyle's at a 3.5. Love this movie.
Wow.
I'm gonna have to get him to Do Your Thing, cuz T-shirt for Christmas.
I know,
That was
Jesus.
so fucking great.
I don't think we've ever
I would wear that.
done
I would wear
a
that
bad film where Cody was the lowest rated person on the bad film.
I don't think so
Yeah.
either.
On his own film.
Yeah,
Yeah.
on his
Yeah.
pick.
for sure.
Well, because I wanted to pick because I wanted to have this kind of discussion to see what people who do love this film, because there are people out there who do love this film, what they love about this movie.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
because a lot of it, like I said, to me, as like
It's a love to hate for me.
it's like a lot of it's insulting to me. I'm like, wait, I'm not that fucking stupid. Like I can do math. I know how old she should be. Wait, the Sawyer's married into another family. Why would this person like you just start building
the
with
movie starts with wait, the Sawyers have more than 4 people
Right.
in that fucking
Yeah.
farmhouse.
Right away
like,
confused, you know? Just
Yeah.
no.
I'm like, where's this army of fucking Sawyers just emerge from?
Also, like we're
Bearded
like
Sawyers.
you go with the beginning thing too. Again, it's like all the town folks pop up. They're there for a good minute. Like, where's backup for this cop?
I
Like,
didn't
how
mention-
far
Right.
fucking away
I
are
didn't
they?
mention this earlier, but I really actually hated the fact that all the townsfolk knew of the Sawyers. The first movie works because
No one knows of them.
because they're just this mystery in Texas and no
Yeah.
one figures out. And
Some
this one,
lone
it's like
house out in
this
the middle
whole
of nowhere.
fucking town is just
Yeah.
like they're eating people over there.
Yeah.
It's like
Why are we all just
why are we
waiting?
not doing anything about that right now?
It
Well,
is-
because if you do something, then their daughter comes back, and it's a whole thing.
It's
yeah.
a whole movie.
It's a whole thing. But that's where I'm at. I'm at a 2. I'll go with a 2 because I did enjoy the conversation. But this is not one that I'm gonna revisit all the time, or this is not my favorite Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's either was there 7 Texas Chainsaw Massacres. It's towards the bottom. You
Oh,
know.
I might rewatch this one a few more times in my life.
Yeah.
Only 7?
I can see
I
myself
thought there was
watching
more
this
than
again.
that.
I don't know. There's so
They're
many
terrible.
offshoots. There's
Yeah.
in different timelines. It's I think there might be more than 7 now, but
I don't think I'd be happy to watch this film again, but I feel like if
I
somebody
wouldn't
came up
be
to
mad
me,
about it. If
I would
like
be
if
terrible
I
about
showed
like,
up
oh,
to
you want to watch that one?
if I showed up to
Alright.
like Chris's place to like carve a pumpkin and this movie was on
That's
the
true.
fucking
Yeah, this
thing,
would
I'd be
be-
like,
You'd
yeah,
be
that's
bummed
dope.
out.
No,
I'd be like,
oh,
I'm
you'd be like,
down.
oh, great. No, you know what he's saying? If I
Like,
came
oh,
over to
cool.
Chris's house to carve a pumpkin and this was on, oh, great, there's a movie I don't have to pay attention to is on, is what he's saying.
Yes.
Excellent background
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
3.5.
Get to look over and admire that CG
I had a
blood.
great time.
3.5.
Had a
I was
great
waiting
time.
for it. I was waiting for what it
It's gonna be
this is what-
Hellraiser 2
I
Hellbound all day.
I knew.
It fucking always is. I'm so sick of Hellraiser 2 Hellbound because of your pumpkin.
It was always
carving
that
artist.
Dead Alive. Those
Yeah,
are the
Dead
two
Alive,
Oh,
films
yeah.
that
Dead
I
Alive.
should
That's the
always
other one.
see.
Seen that movie 18
Yeah.
times now.
You're welcome.
I feel like I've seen that film more on silent than I've
Yep.
ever seen it with that.
you don't really need to hear it.
Yeah.
All right, guys, that is the end of our show for this month. I just want to say we really appreciate you listening all the way through. We make sure you follow us on social media, Cult Film in Review on Instagram, Cult Film _review on TikTok, I believe.
It's underscore
_on
Underscore
TikTok. Make sure you guys follow us on Instagram too, Instagram and TikTok. Please go there because we are doing polls now on our Instagram, and you can be a part of those polls. Yes, I asked 2 questions this week before we recorded. I wanted to know what people thought, if they thought our last film, which was Once Upon a Time in the West, is the greatest spaghetti western of all time.
How we do?
It was pretty good. I don't have the stats on me because they're in my phone, and my phone is recording us right now.
So it's
video
pretty
wise.
good, but
But so it was
What?
it won out. It won out. It won people agree that it is the greatest spaghetti western than
Over
not.
not.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And
Cool.
then I also asked the dying question that people have been asking since the release of our last episode: is it cost plus or is it world
I
market?
think World Market beat out if I'm
World market
correct, right?
fucking crushed. It was like
Did it
76%.
I am surprised at that because
I'm
I
not,
actually
I'm not.
had
Once I read why it happened, it makes complete total sense. that it would
I
lose
understood
out.
that, but I guess all of the people that I have in my life that have ever talked about a cost plus / world market to have all said it was cost. Have always used the word the name.
They've
cost
combined
plus.
it
Yeah.
for me. Like I feel like it's always been cost
Really?
plus world market. Like it's been the
Yeah.
full
See,
thing.
always been the
that's
full
weird
thing for
because
me.
everyone
Yeah.
I've ever known has just called it cost.
Everyone
plus.
I've ever known has just called it world market.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've heard it. I've heard it all three ways. My family treated it as cost plus world market. It's one total.
I
That is
whole
so
never-
Real
interesting.
Bernstein
I
Bears
never heard
scenario.
cost plus until that fucking day.
No, I know you had.
And I don't know how I missed it on the sign until that day. I never even in my mind saw cost plus on the sign.
I will say that I from my research into this that I do believe that they will be dropping the cost plus at some point.
Yeah,
in
I went to
time.
I typed it in and
No,
their
they-
website says cost plus world market, but the
No.
website is worldmarket.com or
Yeah,
whatever.
Yeah,
it
I
says.
think world market is where they're
1990
going.
In 1990, they decided to shift the brand. So it'd be prior to that, it was cost plus world market, and what they started to do is new stores that were being built in the Southwest would just be world market as they built up more and more stores towards going to the west.
Mhm.
So all the stores to the east of that have always just been cost plus world market. So there's a whole half of the country that's never known it as cost plus world
Damn,
market.
That makes sense because the only cost plus world market that I've ever gone to has been here since almost since I've moved here in
Yeah.
like '92.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of always been there.
Yeah.
yeah, so please head over to
He's still doing the outro.
Talking about cost plus
Yeah.
world market.
So
God damn.
please head over to Cult Film and Review on Instagram and Cult Film _review on TikTok. Make sure you are a part of our polls because we will have even more polling and more answers coming to you. Like, hey, is this a cult film? I want to know from you guys. So you better believe that I'm
Yeah.
going to ask you on our
Do it.
social media. So please go there. Like I said in the beginning of the show, we do have a shout out to do.
We do have a review. It's a 5-star review from Kevin BW.
Hell yeah.
Title of this review says, "We missed you."
Nice.
Oh,
Kevin goes on to say, "So glad you guys are back. We need you now more than ever.
it's tough times out there.
Past few years have been pretty bleak.
See?
You provide a ray of sunshine every month when I get to listen to your latest episode."
He's got to be talking about Chris. Look at that beaming smile.
Mm-hmm. Chris
Yeah.
is lighting up. Goddamn 4th of July over there. Hope to hear you review The Room in the future, as it is the most cult classic of all the cult classics. It's even in the opening of your show. So it might finally be time.
Dude, I can't remember because the episode hasn't been given to us to listen to yet. But our January episode, our little episode, we do talk about The Room, don't we? Did we
No.
talk about our
No.
screening
I don't
experiences in
think
that?
so.
I don't think so.
I don't
'Cause-
think we've ever talked about the screening that we did of The Room.
Both me and
Um,
Mike have screened the Room separately in 2 different occasions at the same
Yeah.
place.
I
It
saw
wasn't our screening though. To be
What? No, it was somebody
no,
else's that we had
it
to
was
fill
somebody
in for.
else's that we had to fill in for. Yeah, but I actually think that might have been the first time I'd ever actually seen The Room full.
It was my first
in its
time.
full time.
Yeah.
I definitely understand why it's a cult classic, and
100%.
I do understand why people are curious as to why we haven't covered it. But I guess it's add that
also
on
one
to
of
the
those
so
that's
many
like-
others that we haven't done.
It's also one of those ones that's like at a level that's like
It's been talked
to
about.
me. It's like, yeah, what do I bring to the conversation?
mean,
it's like Big Lebowski. And
hey.
I always wanted to pick it, but I'm just like, what are you
Right.
adding to this
I
conversation?
mean, we haven't done Rocky Horror either for the same
Same.
reason.
Right.
I think there are some obvious ones that are so like what else can we bring to the conversation that
Yeah.
hasn't already been
we
said?
look at the film universe and we say to ourselves, yeah, we could talk about a classic cult film like The Room, Or we could go 2 hours in on fucking Texas Chainsaw 3D.
I'm basically, I do think we should get into the room at some point in time.
I agree with that. There's a lot. There's a lot of psychology to fucking unpack with that movie.
Yeah, that's a weird one.
You know, there's a ton. But thank you so much, Kevin, for the review, guys. If you want to shout out at the end of our show, please just leave us a review on iTunes, and we will be happy to do that for you. And it helps us climb those charts, baby. You know, we gotta climb those charts.
Back to climbing.
You ain't lying, bro. My arms are getting tired from hitting all them rungs.
Stop, get a drink.
You know, I got
stop, get a drink.
All right, guys, that's our show. Just remember, if you're gonna join a cult, make sure they watch good movies. We'll see you next time.